Good morning, one and all present here. I, Dr. Shivani Dubey, would like to welcome all the dignitaries and participants to one-day national seminar on solid and hazardous waste management. The world generates 2.1 billion tons of municipal solid waste annually, which is expected to grow to 3.40 billion tons by 2050. And the worries doesn't stop here. There are other wastes like medicinal, clinical waste, electrical waste, recyclable waste, construction and demolished waste, hazardous waste. So these are the waste which has to be disposed and treated properly to avoid the waste accumulation and to reduce the effect of toxic waste on the environment and the human health. So this is the high time to follow Matthew Gubb, who see the waste sector as a model for the green economy. And I'm proud to share with immense dedication towards establishing cleanliness culture, Indore Municipal Corporation has got the most cleanest city award for 4 times now. And now we are heading towards competing for the 5th time while establishing a unique waste disposal and treatment methods, which the whole nation is following. So to have a deep insight to this and to develop the comprehensive understanding of different types of waste, correct method of their disposal and treatment, Department of Biosciences, Acropolis Institute of Management Studies and Research, under the aegis of Solaris, the Science Club, in the proud association of Microbiologists Society India, invites you to the National Seminar on Solid and Hazardous Waste Treatment. Now, I would like to request Dr. Pranoti Belapurkar, Professor and Head, Department of Biosciences, for the welcome note. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot, Shivani. Yes. A very good morning to all the dignitaries, participants, colleagues, and dear students. Today, I feel extremely honored to welcome you all to the National E-Seminar on Solid and Hazardous Waste Management. I, on behalf of the Department of Biosciences, Acropolis Institute of Management Studies, Indore, welcome our esteemed speakers for the day, Dr. Satish Sudhakar Rao Patil, Professor and Head, Department of Environmental Science and Director, Central Facility for Advanced Training and Advanced Research and Training at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, and Dr. V.K. Garg, currently working as Professor and Dean, School of Environmental and Earth Studies, Central University of Punjab, Bhatinda. Both of our eminent speakers are not only nationally and globally acclaimed environmentalists with numerous awards and accolades to their credit, but they truly are avid academicians striving continuously to inculcate the knowledge amongst the students. Thank you very much, sirs, for accepting our request on a short notice and giving us this opportunity to learn from you. Today, it's a matter of great pride for the Department of Biosciences, Acropolis Institute, Indore, to be associated with Microbiologists Society, India. I welcome our patrons, Dr. Arvind Deshmukh, President MSI, and Dr. Nandini Phanse, State Convener MSI, to the today's event, and extend my gratitude to them for graciously associating with us for the same. MSI was established in 1996 at Satara, Maharashtra, with the vision of providing guidance, training, and platform for quality learning to microbiologists throughout the country. For over 2 decades, it has been performing this task relentlessly under the able leadership of Dr. Arvind Deshmukh and Dr. Nandini Phanse, all over the club and state respectively. Today, they are present with us to inaugurate the students' chapter of MSI at Department of Biosciences, Acropolis Institute, Indore. Thank you, sir and madam, for associating with us. I'm sure together we can work to bring out the best skilled microbiologists for the ever-growing pharma, biotech, health sector, and research labs across the globe. I take this opportunity to welcome the participants from various colleges, universities, and research institutes from across India to have shown such a great enthusiasm. I'm sure by the end of today's session, you all shall be enriched in your knowledge. I welcome our principal, Dr. Ashok Jhawar sir, my fellow colleagues, Dr. Shivani Dubey, Mrs. Rati Nair, Mrs. Pushpanjali Sharma, Dr. Niharika Shivare and Dr. Samir Dubey and my team of students and thank them for their relentless efforts to put up a great show. Now, I would like to welcome Dr. Deshmukh, President MSI, for his inaugural address. Thank you all and have a great learning day ahead. Sir, please unmute yourself, Dr. Deshmukh. Yeah.
Should I start?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir, please.
So, good morning to all of you in the very nice event. Today we are discussing a great problem in front of India, not only in India, throughout the world. Solid waste management, specifically hazardous waste. And I am more delighted today for the reason you are starting a student unit of microbiology at your institute. So at the outset, I would like to declare that the student unit of microbiology society is inaugurated at your institute.
Thank you, sir.
Of course,
Thank you so much.
the efforts goes to Bela Purkar madam, Dubey madam, and the president of Microbiology Society for Madhya Pradesh, who is constantly encouraging and communicating various departments of microbiology. And she is the really inspiring source for all microbiologists in Madhya Pradesh. So today there are two eminent speakers. One is my best friend and well-known environmental scientist, Dr. Satish Patil. I know him from many years. And the second speaker, Professor Vinod Kumar Garg, who is a professor and dean at Central Environmental Science and Technology, Central University of Punjab. Well-known both environmental scientists. In this interaction, Satish Patil, in the discussion and putting their expertise, means they are already studied in detail the environmental science. So today they will explain their expert opinions how to tackle the hazardous waste. So today, due to the coronavirus, we are compelled to come on the virtual platform. And many times I say that coronavirus is a national calamity, but sometimes we may consider it as a boon. You see, all organizers are in Indore. I am speaking from Maharashtra, from Pune. Satish Patil is speaking from Aurangabad. And another speaker is from Punjab, and probably some of the attendee in today's webinar from different corners of India. That is the beauty of virtual lecture. And again I would like to tell Bela Purkar madam and Dubey madam, Shivani Dubey is constantly in touch with me. You are enthusiastic. You are loving the subject. You want to do something in the subject. While doing all these activities, the ultimate goal in front of microbiology, in front of microbiology society is to serve the nation. And to serve the nation means we are not serving the building. we are serving the human being, mankind. So ultimately, all our activities should be for creating awareness among the society. So you see, today it is said that, and we also know that every country in the world is after development, development and development. We want to develop, but we have not defined development, because development should be sustainable development, and sustainable development can be achieved only by the eco-friendly tool biosciences. That is the only promising tool. So we can call it as a life science, you can call it as a bioscience, you can call it as a biotechnology. All branches, zoology, botany, microbiology, environmental science, bioinformatics, and many other branches of life science comes under one umbrella. And with the help of all these branches, we can give promising solution to the country, promising solution to the world. So today your attempt to organize a discussion on hazardous municipal waste. In the flyer also you have mentioned, huge of hazardous waste is created throughout the world. And really we want to get rid. But while getting the rid from the such problems, the solution should be sustainable, solution should be eco-friendly. So today's speaker will enlighten us on this topic, and it is a very good attempt. I take an opportunity to congratulate Madhya Pradesh Microbiology Society unit and the student unit of Microbiology Society at Acropolis Institute of Management at Indore, and the team behind you, your management, your dean, because they have created academic environment in your institute. They are encouraging you, they are inspiring you to organize such academic webinars. So I congratulate all of you, and I am thankful to the institute to giving me an opportunity to interact with the students, to interact with the teachers. As a president of Microbiology Society, it is my duty to wish you all the best, and thank you again. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Rightly said, Dr. Deshmukh. Thank you so much for your valuable and kind words for us. Thank you so much. Your motivation will always help us to lead in the world. Now it's my pride and privilege to announce this, that as we are inaugurating the student chapter of Microbiology Society India here at this platform. Also, the Microbiology Society India has finally decided to felicitate our best students of microbiology and biotechnology, for which department has nominated students on the basis of their overall performance in the curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So it's a proud moment for me to announce our best student in microbiology for the period 2018-2021. And the best student award in microbiology goes to Mr. Monty Vijayvargiya of BSc final year microbiology. He has been a meritorious student so far. Yes, Monty, congratulations for this award. And he has been a meritorious student so far. He has attended around 15 workshops and seminars during this lockdown period. In addition to regular classes, he has completed certification courses like bioinformatics, clinical research and data management, industrial bioinformatics, R programming, HTML5, CSS3, etc. He has also completed internship as research analyst at Eminent Biosciences Indore for a period of 6 months. He has also designed this logo, the Solaris logo, that beautiful logo of our science club, in a team of 3 people. He was among the main coordinator team for the medalist 2018-19, and not only this, he is the winner of various national level drawing competitions, and now the MSI is facilitating Monty Vijayvargiya with a certificate in memento. So many congratulations, Monty Vijayvargiya, for the best student in microbiology award from the MSI. Monty?
Well deserved, Monty.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Congratulations once again.
All the best, Monty.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes. And now we are heading towards the Best Student Award in Biotechnology, which goes to Miss Mudrika Bharadwaj from BSc Final Year Biotechnology.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And she has been a meritorious student so far in the academics. Also, along with this, she is the IIC leader of Srijan eCell, which is always working for developing the entrepreneurial skills among the students. So she is the IIC leader of Srijan eCell. She has attended around 9 workshops and seminars during this lockdown period. I must say she has utilized it very beautifully. And she has done certification courses on clinical research in pharmacovigilance and basics of pharmaceutical chemistry. She has also completed 2 months internship in digital marketing from HR Conspects Private Limited and 1 month internship at Srijan eCell in digital marketing and designing. She is working as as a leader in UVACRO in Srijan, which works for the entrepreneurship development among students. Well deserved, Mudrika. Congratulations,
Mudrika.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, many congratulations, Mudrika.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Shivani, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our patrons for actually motivating our students by giving such kind of an award. I'm sure that this is going to boost their ability and their enthusiasm to achieve more in the coming years. So it's a great landmark. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you, Dr. Deshmukh, Dr. Nandini. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And this wonderful insight to boost the morale of student is really appreciable. Thank you so much. And now, without much delay, now I would like to do the further proceedings for the National Seminar on Solid and Hazardous Waste Management. And to further move towards that, I would like to request Ms. Rati Trivedi Nair to introduce our first speaker for the seminar, Dr. Satish Sudhakar Rao Patil. Over to you, Rati, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, all. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Dr. Satish Rao, sir. Dr. Satish Sudhakar Rao is Professor and Head, Department of Environmental Science and Director of Central Facility, Advanced Research and Training at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. He worked enormously in the field of environmental science. Dr. Patil dedicated 26 years of eminence in the field of environmental science. His area of interest includes environmental impact assessment, environmental quality, risk assessment studies, environmental pollution study, water pollution, biodiversity, etc. He worked in various academic and administrative capacities. He is a research guide and 21 students have been awarded PhD and 12 students' research work is in progress under his guidance. He had completed 10 research projects and currently working on 2 more projects. He holds 2 patents and published more than 100 research papers in national and international journals. Also, he is the author of 7 books. Dr. Patil is still persistently providing a lot in the sphere of environmental science through his projects, scientific activities, and research publications. Welcome you, sir. Over to you, Shivani ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rati ma'am, for this this wonderful introduction. Now I would like to request Dr. Patil to continue the proceedings. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, all of you. Respected Dr. A.M. Deshmukh sir, who is a patron webinar. The other patron, Dr. Nandini Fansal, who happens to be the state coordinator of the Microbiological Society of India, principal of this Acropolis Institute of Management Studies and Research, Dr. Ashok Dhamar sir,
मोबाइल के यूट्यूब पे कौन इतना सर्च मारेगा?
the convener of this, Dr. Bilapurkar ma'am, Professor Head Department of Biosciences, co-convener Dr. Shivani Dubey, and all the delegates who joined online for this seminar on the solid and hazardous waste management. In fact, the Microbiological Society, President of Microbiological Society,
लिखा हुआ है
Professor Arvind Deshmukh sir, who called me one week back, and he requested me to please, can you give this one lecture or a presentation
पीछे से ब्लर कर रखा है नहीं
and have a dialogue with the
ब्लर हो रखा है
participants of the seminar. And after 1 hour,
मीट में
a
गूगल
phone call which came from the Dr. Shivani Dubey,
तुम्हारा गूगल मीट है ना
and immediately I gave my consent.
इसलिए उसमें नहीं आता
In fact, I am very happy and feel very proud, privileged that I can share my
एक
views,
सेकंड रुकना
particularly on
वो
the
ऊपर वाला जो
solid and hazardous waste management
वो जो
practices
ऊपर लेफ्ट हैंड साइड जो बना हुआ है वो हट रहा है कि नहीं हट रहा है?
with respect to
चलो अच्छा रहने दो मत हटाओ उसको।
Indian practice, particularly
रहने दो
because as we know that it has been rightly pointed out by Dr. Shivani Dubey that at present more than 2 billion tons of solid waste which is being generated every year, and in another 30-40 years it will grow up more than 3.5 billion tons every year,
हेलो
which is a huge quantum of the solid waste, which particularly includes,
बहुत बढ़िया ठीक है
if it is not being properly
हाँ, नहीं,
dealt
तो
with
अब
or
देखो, अब
treated,
मैं आपके साथ नहीं
in
भी
many
रहूं-
of which can be hazardous also. And as we all know that,
अच्छा ठीक है चलो
as far as the problems of solid and hazardous waste is concerned, is the talk of the every town and every nation, that how to deal with this solid as well as hazardous waste. Though there are several methods which has been suggested and which has been practiced, but only treating the solid waste is not enough. In fact, we should see that now this is not a waste, because this is an opportunity for us to go for the another product where we treat it as a waste. In fact, this is a time that we have to think from not from the cradle to grave, from one cradle to another cradle. We have to switch over, and we should take it as an opportunity that from this solid waste,
गुड मॉर्निंग मैम
can we go for another byproduct, which is also very useful for any of the purpose
तो माइक कौन सा वाला
which we normally neglect over this. In fact, at the world level,
कैमरे का माइक चालू है
there is enough awareness to deal with the solid waste, particularly the developed nation. They have come up with certain technologies. At the same time, they are also focusing on that
एक देखो अभी आपको कुछ
the generation of the solid waste, how it can be minimized, and how the rest of the waste is to be recycled and reused. The more focus is given on that. Can you see the slides? Hello, can you see the share?
नहीं
Yes, sir, it's visible. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So without wasting much of the time, we will start discussing how the hazardous and solid waste management can be managed
तो फिर वो
in the Indian context.
नानी मैडम और
So when we are talking about the waste management and the environmental issues, you know that
तो नहीं आई ना कोई आवाज
there are what is the reason for such a huge amount of waste which is being generated? Because we know that today is a changing lifestyle is there, which generates a lot of solid waste, and even though we know that more than 45% of the population
यहाँ मैम
it is now at the urban centers, and the problems of urbanizations are different, which has created the mountains of solid waste, and it is nothing but the unwanted materials which is disposed by the mankind. So any material that we discard, that is not a liquid or gas, we call it solid waste. It can be of two types. One is a municipal solid waste and another is a industrial solid waste. So what is hazardous? In brief, it is nothing but a waste with the properties which makes it dangerous or potentially harmful to the human health or the environment. And this hazardous waste has characteristics of ignability, corrosivity, reactivity, and the most important, toxicity, which are found to be very harmful or fatal when ingested or absorbed, or even when we come in contact with that. And that is what it is very, very important that we should focus on this hazardous waste as like a solid waste. As I told you that there are two types of solid waste. In that, one is of municipal solid waste, another is of non-municipal solid waste. That is non-municipal solid waste which is being generated by the industry, agricultural practices, and the mining. So when we are talking about the composition of the municipal solid waste, we should know that the maximum amount of waste is in the form of paper and the paper boards, which can be easily recyclable. Then we will also see the plastics and the yard waste. The food waste, it is up to 12%, and the metals, which can be reused and recycled easily. Now, the solid waste, as I told you, that is of two types, either municipal solid waste or industrial solid waste. And the other, though this is a solid, but it becomes hazardous or toxic when it is not been focused or segregated at the source itself. So at about 3/4 of unnecessary resource we are wasting, and that creates air and water pollution and the other environmental issues, including land degradation. Now, when we talk about the municipal solid waste, you know that this comes from the home or even offices, which can be easily biodegradable, like a paper, wood, fruits, and the other solid waste can be easily biodegradable. And the non-biodegradables, particularly plastics, plastic bottles, old machines, cans, spray foams, containers, and even others, they are found to be non-biodegradable. Now, as I told you that the waste composition of Indian garbage, that will undergo the changes in the coming 4 to 5 years, because the trend is now changing. The organic waste will go up from 40% to 60%. And the plastic will rise from 4 to 6%. Metal will escalate from 1 to 4%. This glass will also increase from 2 to 3%, and paper will climb from 5 to 15%. And the others will decrease. The other like ash, sand, weed, because most of the times it is being reused and has been converted into other form. And in India, there were 6 million tons of waste in 1947, but now it becomes 678 million tons in 2020. You will see the huge difference between, because as I told you that one of the most important reason is that the urbanization and the living, the lifestyles of the Indian people. So that the disposal is most of the solid waste, we know that is unscientific, because there are the local urban bodies, they spend over the 500 to 1500 per ton every year. Now, these are the types of solid waste, which particularly includes all kinds of waste, including rubbish, ashes, construction and demolition waste, industrial and hazardous waste, and even the hospital waste, that is we call it the biomedical waste, and the sewage problems. Because of that, there are several kinds of solid waste are there. Now, when we are talking about the municipal solid waste, as I told you that it can be easily recyclable, and even many of the waste can be reused also. Can be converted from one format to another form. Now, as we know that these are where we uses, these are found to be solid waste. So, as I told you that no waste in natural world, because waste of one organism becomes nutrient for others as a natural recycling of the nutrients. And as you know that today a huge amount of waste that can go unused, and that is what it pollutes. So any unwanted or discarded material what we produce, that is not a liquid or gas, But as you know that the industrial solid waste, for painting houses, we are using several paints and stains, varnishes, liquors, the paint thinners and solvents, and even the wood representatives, and even the artistic paints and inks what we are using. So even in automobile sector, we are using the gasolines, the motor oils, used motor oils, anti-freezer agents, and battery acids, brake and transmission fluids. And in general, we are using the dry cell batteries like a mercury cadmium batteries and the glues and the cements. So this is some of the chemicals where we are every day we are coming in contact with that. Now, when we talk about the hazardous waste, like it becomes most of the waste becomes organic compounds like various solvents, pesticides, polychlorinated biphenyls and dioxins. Whereas non-biodegradable toxic heavy metals are the lead, mercury, and arsenic, which we normally found even in the domestic waste also, which are highly reactive waste, which is being produced by the nuclear power plants and the nuclear weapons facilities. Now, hundreds of tons of domestic waste which are generated daily by the households, which contributes to the enormous environmental problems today. Now, when we are talking about the waste generations, we know that there is several waste which is a storable, we call it storable waste, like a food waste, whether it is a pre-processed food waste, then the contaminated food, vegetation waste, and even the storable waste like a plastic waste or the aluminum waste. Now, we are using several dustbins in order to store the waste, like a yellow bin which is being dedicated for the aluminum cans accumulation, which is 100% recyclable and can be stored for a longer duration than the food waste, as they are not food contaminated, and which can be easily disposed of once the enough quantity is accumulated. Then the blue bins, which is dedicated for the plastic accumulation, which is 100% recyclable and can also be stored for a longer duration. Then the green baskets, it is meant for the collection of the paper for recycling and to be kept for each department with a 2 times clearance in a month, and all the paper which are not contaminated and storable for a longer duration, which is kept in this basket. Then there's the red bins are also being used, which can be kept only at the secondary accumulation point. Now, so when we are talking about the domestic waste, which is particularly being generated by the household activities, such as cooking, cleaning, repairs, even the redecorations, empty containers, packaging, clothing, old books, newspapers, and old furnishings. Whereas the commercial waste, like a waste which is generated in office, wholesale store, restaurants, hotels, markets, and even housewares and the commercial establishments. Now, even you know that now there are the mountains of solid waste, whether it is industrial or domestic waste, which is the collection point. After collection, it is being stored and dumped at one place. And this industrial waste, particularly, which discarded the solid from the manufacturing processes and even the industrial operations. So that the municipal waste which is generated due to the municipal activities like a street waste, dead animals, market waste, and even the abandoned vehicles, and which is particularly used in a wider sense to incorporate the domestic waste, the institutional waste, and the commercial waste. Now then the garbage, we know that what is the situation of garbage. The activities like a storage or preparation and even the sale or cooking, serving, which gives a lot of vegetable waste. Dead animals that die naturally or even accidentally, it does not include the carcass and the animal part from the slaughterhouses, as these are considered as industrial waste now. When we are talking about the hospital waste which is generated during the diagnosis, treatment, and the humanization of the human being, and you know that during pandemics also we experienced the tremendous amount of the hospital waste like a PPE kit and all, which is being generated, which we are not being able to dispose it properly. And that is what, apart from that, there is a lot of huge amount of analytical waste, the discarded medicines, chemicals, and though these are in the form of disposable syringe, now we are using a disposable syringe, bandages, body fluids, etc., human, etc. Now huge amount of plastic, because the use of plastics is increasing every day, and this is a wonder material, because the plastic is now a serious worldwide environmental health concern, has a health concern, and essentially due to the non-biodegradable nature. Now the waste which is generated here are in the form of liquid or solid, like a slaughterhouse waste in nature, and the slaughtering of animals which generates waste which is consisting of non-edible organs like a stomach, lungs, bones, sludges from the waste, and the wastewater treatment. Now, even apart from there is a bulky waste, which are household appliances such as the cookers, refrigerators, washing machines, the furnitures, the crates, the vehicle parts, tires, wood, and whatnot, even the trees and their branches. So these bulky metallic waste are also sold as a scrap metal, but some portion which is definitely being disposed of as a sanitary landfill. Now this hazardous waste which is created during the manufacture of many household products, and many are produced as a result of agriculture, industry, military operations, and even the research which is going on at the hospitals and the scientific laboratories. So this is being classified, this hazardous waste which is being classified into four categories like a toxic, explosive, flammable, and corrosive type of waste. So this is you will see that at the outside of every city, the solid waste dumping sites are like this, where there is a dumping of solid waste which is going on, which is a regular practice. So when we are talking about solid waste management, as we know that there are certain problems with even their disposal sites and even the communities, those who are get exposed to such kind of waste. Like for example, disposal sites, we have a problem of water pollution and air pollution. So even the community who always involved to collect the waste and to segregate the waste, like food items, the vector-borne diseases, and the order nuisance is there, where the communities always get exposed to this. So there are also problems with the rag pickers, like an injury to them and ill health. Now the workers' health is very, very important during their collection, storage, transport, and even disposal. So there are also some management problems with the solid waste, like choking the drain sewers, park, which are converted into dumping grounds and all. Now, you know, the problem of this waste is also, there is always, you will find the stray animals. They are always there for their food. And they normally used to consume the plastic covers, which are normally used to cover the foods. And many incidents which has been reported in the urban areas, that the cattle, they are died because of the accumulation of plastics in their body. Now, this waste also provide a breeding sites for the mosquitoes. And mosquitoes of this Aedes genus, they lay the eggs in water, which is stored and discarded items such as the tires and drums. So these are particularly responsible for the spread of dengue or even the yellow fever. Now you will find that most of the times even the municipal areas where the solid waste which is being dumped off, it is all the time burnt out. And normally, you know that the rivers which are flowing either through the rivers or on the bank of the cities, this waste which is being burnt on the banks of the rivers always. Now, as we know that what is the plastic waste, which are so versatile in that, because we know that the environmental impact of this plastic is extremely wide ranging, and this is all happening because of our carelessness for disposing the plastic bags. Even the plastic bags blocks the porosity of the soil, and which may causes the problems of groundwater recharge also. So that this plastic disturbs the microbial activity, and these bags can also contaminate the foodstuffs due to the leaching of toxic dyes and transfer of pathogens. In fact, as I told you that the major portion of the plastic bags, that is 60 to 80% of plastic bags waste which is generated in India is collected and segregated for recycling, and 20 to 40% remains thrown on the ground, which is being littered around the open dumps. So due to burning of all this plastic solid waste, the dioxin is highly carcinogenic, which is being normally comes from the fumes of this solid waste during burning, and which is a very toxic byproduct of manufacturing process of plastic. So burning of plastic, especially the PVCs, polyvinyl chlorides, which particularly releases the dioxins and also furan into the atmosphere. Now, as we are well aware of the epidemic plague which has caused in 1994 because of Surat, which has witnessed the dengue plague, and even garbage which has been acted as a breeding ground for the rodents. Now, what is the impact? When we are talking about the impact of this, because of improper storage, handling and transportation, and even the treatment and disposal of this hazardous waste, that particularly results in adverse impact on the ecosystems, including the human environment. So when discarded on the land, the heavy metals and the certain organic compounds, they are phytotoxic, and they are relatively low at the low levels, which adversely affect the soil productivity and for the extended period of items. Now, when we are talking, there are several impacts of the solid waste what we have experienced, like a chemical poisoning, and there are serious health risks because of this agricultural waste which comes from the agricultural land and industries. And even as we all know that the waste which is dumped near the water bodies, which goes to the water, which leads to the accumulation of toxic metals even in the food chain. And there's a direct exposure to the waste which leads to the skin infections also. So there is a regular problem of eye and respiratory infections nearby the residents who is continuously exposed to the infected dust, especially during the landfill operations. So that the incineration activities also sometimes leads to the cancers, and the handling of hazardous waste chemicals that leads to the poisoning of chemicals. Now, burning and injuries can also result from the explosion of methane gas from the landfill sites. So unhygienic and unsafe disposal of these plastics that leads to the accumulation of toxic chemicals in the land also. So when this garbage which is dumped at nearby place, it creates some problems, severe problems like a generation of fleas, mosquitoes, and they get a favorable atmosphere for breeding, which ultimately leads into the break of malaria, dengue, food poisoning, and plague. So the unsafe mode of burning of this all kinds of waste, which releases the poisoning of gases in surrounding and leads to an increase in the air pollution problems. Now, it is very, very important. Segregation method, there are several segregation methods like a color code waste bin, dustbins, or the waste bins for the segregation. Like a green bins can be used for the biodegradable, white can for the recyclable, black for the other waste, and transportation is very good. Transportation should be done through the closed vans to avoid the spilling. Now, as far as the collection system is concerned, you know that there are certain slum and squatter houses. The waste should be separately collected for that. Waste which is coming from the hotels is to be segregated properly. The waste which is coming from the hotels, restaurants, office complexes, and commercial areas, it should be properly segregated at source itself. So most commonly recognized method for the final disposal of solid waste are, there are 4 methods like a dumping on land, dumping in water, flowing into the soil, and incineration. These are the certain traditional methods for solid waste disposal. Now, as far as the collection is concerned, as we know that there are house-to-house collection is always going on, particularly in urban centers, on the regular pre-informed timings. But at the same time, you know that there are also these solid waste dumping containers which are being overflowed all the time on the roadsides. That is a big problem we have. Now, even there are enough transportation systems. We used to transport this waste by using certain carts. And as per the disposal of the solid waste is concerned, there are 3 methods which are popular: sanitary landfills, incineration, and recycling. So sanitary landfill, more than 50% of the waste has been given a treatment of sanitary landfills, and 32% which is being recycled, and only 13 to 14% which is being sent for its incineration. Now, when we are talking about the treatment technology which is considered for this, after collection, most of the waste which is being sent for its recycling, then the composting. Composted waste, again, you can use a compost product at the end use. But as you know that the municipal solid waste landfill treatment is most of the 50% of the waste which has been given landfill treatment. But the material which can be recyclable, which can be sent for its recycling purpose, and then, as I told you, that the incinerator waste, after its incineration, the ash can be given a treatment, landfill treatment. Now, when we talk about the practices of waste disposal, now we are a huge amount of wastage is found to be disposed of. But now where we have to go? In future, we should not continue this trend, but we should see that how waste can be minimized. Because unless and until waste is not being properly processed, because this processing, though it is the responsibility of the municipal corporation or the corporate body, but now there is a need to have a public-private partnerships. It should be looked into a business from the business point of view, and see that those vendors, those industrialists, those who wanted to make the wealth out of the waste or the product out of the waste, they should be encouraged. Because we all know that the private parties which are coming forward to deal with the waste, and we should see that the communities, after involving the community's participation and private sector, and using the low-cost technologies and the low-energy disposals, that how this waste can be processed properly and the waste can be minimized. Because for future, we have to see that how the waste can be minimized at source itself, and if it is emerged, how it can be minimized by using a low cost or the low energy disposal technologies. And as I told you that every stakeholder should be involved, because unless and until it has not been taken at the stakeholders level, now the waste cannot be tackled or waste cannot be dealt with. And that is whatever the waste which is coming up, even apart from using a high-tech or the high-energy disposal technologies, we should see that as much of the waste, it should be recycled. And it is possible at the technology scale. Now when we are talking about the integrated waste management, now we have to decide the priorities, because we have to see that what is the first priority, second priority, and last priority. Because when we are talking about the pollution and the waste, because it is a responsibility of everybody, every citizens, to see that the pollution can be prevented and the waste prevention should be there. When we talk about the first priority, the change in industry to eliminate the use of harmful chemicals are very necessary, and the use of less harmful products is very, very essential. And reduce the packaging and market materials in products, because you know that now we have started, the world is started. They are using a minimum packaging in materials, and make the products that last longer and which are recyclable, reusable, or easy to repair. Then on the second priority, we have to see that how waste can be reused, how the used material can be repaired. After repairing, it can be used like automotive parts and even the wooden furniture and all. After repairing it, how it can be brought into the usable form. And if not being reused and repaired, how it can be recycled, can be converted into another product. Instead of throwing it, how we can recover. And if it is, even if it is not possible, then the composting of the waste is very, very essential. It should be given the priority. And buy the usable and recyclable products. It is very, very necessary. Now we have to learn to buy the reusable and recyclable products, because we are always looking at a first category product, but at the same time there are many products which can be reusable, recyclable products which can be easily used at a cheaper cost. And the last priority is the waste management practices we need to adopt, because in order to treat the waste, we have to see that how the toxicity can be reduced, and you have to minimize the incinerated waste, because again it creates a lot of ash which may be toxic and carcinogenic also. And buy the waste, they bury the waste in landfill itself, and also they release the waste into the environment for the disposal or dilution. That is also important, because the segregation of the waste or the selection of the landfill site and the quantity of the waste which is dumped at a particular landfill site, beyond its carrying capacity, beyond its storage capacity, we have to see that it should not be stored beyond the storage or the carrying capacity. Now, so this waste reduction is particularly based on the 3 R's, which I just told you, that reduce. Reduce, how it can be reduced, like consume less and live in a simpler life, live with a simpler lifestyle. It is possible now. And we have to rely more on the items that can be used repeatedly instead of throw away. And we need to buy necessary items, that is a second hand, what we call it is, or borrow or rent them. So when we are talking about recycling, now there is enough potential and a huge avenues for us to separate and recycle the papers, glass, cans, plastics, metals, and even the many items, and buy the products which are made from the recycled material. Now there is a need to adopt the strategies that the industries and communities they used to reduce our resource use, waste and the pollution, because there is a need to redesign the manufacturing process and the product to use a less material and energy. There is also need to develop products that are easy to repair, reuse and remanufacture, or even compost and recycle, and see that it should be eliminated properly and reduce unnecessary packaging. So that we need to establish, as I told you, that cradle to grave responsibility law. But now I told you that now we have to see that how we can cradle the product from one cradle to another one, and that requires the companies need to take legally they should be have a binding to take back various discarded consumer products such as the electronic equipment, appliances, and even the motor vehicles. Now, where you can save the resources by reducing your output, what you can do for that? Like in case of solid waste, follow the 3 R's which I told you just now for the resource use, like reduce, reuse, and recycle. Ask yourself whether you are easily need a particular item or not, and refuse packaging wherever it's possible. Rent, borrow, or barter the goods and the services when you can buy the second hand and even donate or self unused items. Buy the things that are reusable, recyclable, or compostable, and be sure to reuse, recycle, and compost them. So avoid the disposables. Now this is the age of disposables. We use all the time the disposable items, and we need to avoid henceforth. And do not use a throwaway papers or even the plastic plates, cups, eating utensils, and the disposable items when reusable or refillable versions are available. And instead of using the paper for printing, always use an email or text messaging in place of conventional paper mail. And read the newspapers and magazines online. This is the time of the world of online world today. So you always see that even the magazines, we should not take it on in the form of papers. Now we should have online and read ebooks always. So buy products in bulk or concentrated form wherever is possible. Now, what is reusing recycling materials so important? As we know that it is very, very important, because increasing the substituted throwaway items for the reusable ones, which has particularly resulted in growing the masses of the solid waste. So this reusing of material, which particularly involves the cleaning and using of materials over and over, and which increases the typical lifespan of a product. So the reduction of the waste that decreases the use of matter energy resources, which can cut the pollution and waste, which can create a potential jobs and saves the money also. So in less developed countries like India, the poor scavenge is in open dumps for the food scrap and items, which can be reused or sell, or even often exposed to toxins and infectious diseases. Now, these reuse strategies need to be adopted, particularly in developed countries, which includes the yard scale, flea market, the second-hand stores, and online sites such as the eBay and the Craigslist. So we need to encourage the people for reusable bags. The government of, for example, the government of Ireland, Taiwan, and Netherlands, they tax the plastic shopping bags. Now in India also we have started taxing the shopping bags also. In Australia, France, Italy, and US, and in San Francisco, they have banned the use of all and most of the types of plastic shopping bags. So that plastic industry officials have mounted a massive diverting and political campaign to prevent such items, such bans. Now what you can do for the reuse? Buy the beverages in refilled glass containers instead of cans or the throwaway bottles. Use the reusable plastic or the metal lunch boxes. Carry sandwiches and the stored refrigerated food in reusable containers instead of wrapping them into aluminum foil or plastic wraps. Use the rechargeable batteries and recycle them with their useful life over. So when eating is over, bring your own reusable silverware and napkins. So bring your own reusable container for the takeout food or the restaurant meal, whatever is being left over. And as you know that, buy used furniture, groceries, carry the groceries and other items in reusable baskets. Buy the used furniture, computers, cars, any of the other items instead of buying the new one, which becomes very costly, which can put a burden on your economy or your pocket. And give away all this or the sell items that which are you no longer use it. Because we know that in everybody's house, more than 30% of the space which is being occupied by the no-used items, which are not being used since last 2 or 3 years. And that is what, there are several types of recycling also. So recycling particularly involves the reprocessed discarded solid material into the new and the usable products. The households and the workplaces, they produce the 5 major types of materials that we have, that we can recycle, like a paper products, glass, aluminum, steel, and some plastics. So there should be a primary or closed loop recycling, like materials which are recycled into the new products of the same time. And even the secondary recycling is also possible, where the material which can be converted into the different products. Now there are 2 types of recycling, as I told you that. But there are certain questions about this recycling. Do these items are separated for recycling actually get recycled? That is a question that can come up to our mind. And do businesses where the recycling loop by buying the products that are made from the recycled material or not? Now, these are the certain techniques and technologies which are used for the solid waste management. Like a dumping yards are there is a processing of solid waste or segregation of the solid waste which is being done mechanically. Now, when we are talking about the solid waste management, as I told you that once it is being formed as a waste, generated as a waste, it after its proper collection and segregation, some part of it can be used, sent to the by using the as a byproduct, and the other part can be sent for composting. So after the proper composting, it can be converted into form of biofertilizers. After packing and selling, it can be sent to the market, and therefore demand for the biofertilizer can be fulfilled. Now, when we want to take it for the byproduct, there are certain recyclable and non-recyclable byproduct. The byproduct which are recyclable, which can be sent for recycling, and those who are non-recyclable, which can be again sent for its landfill disposal. Now, as far as the recycling of the waste is concerned, as we know that the industry, once it is the waste which can be sent to the consumer, and again it can be sent to the industry. Again, the rag pickers, they can collect this waste, they can send it to a junk dealer, they can sell it to the junk dealers, and junk dealers can be pass it on to the wholesalers, and again it can be sent into industry. Like that, the waste can be easily recycled through its proper cycle. Now, it is very, very important, the scrap material, because there is a huge amount of scrap material which is being also generated in the countries like India. Now, because of our living styles and the using of all the wrapping materials. Now, this is a scrap metal crusher, because we have to crush this scrap material, and we have to see that this can be bring into at one form. Now, when we are talking about the sanitary landfill, it is also very important, because you know that the compacting or burying the waste under the shallow layer of the soil, which can pose most of the problems, like as you know that when we put the trash which is being uploaded, then it can be immediately covered up. Again, it can enter into then there's a layer of the gravel into it, then the soil, which can be pushed into a place and compacted by the builders, by the bulldozers. Then pieces which can be sunk through the compacted layers, which can collect, where you can collect a methane gas and either burn it off or convert into the energy. Nowadays, most of the waste which can be used for the energy purpose also, energy is being generated. It is a recent trend now. Now, when we are talking about the sanitary landfill, like there are certain problems, but particularly the methane gas which is being produced by the microorganisms, it is not being picked up properly. Then there may be a possibility of contamination of surface water or the groundwater by the leachates, and it is not a long-term remedy for this. But new facilities, by installation of new facilities which are being opened up, that should be there. And the closing a full landfill is a very expensive business today. I think there are certain problems with sanitary landfill also. Now, there's a special problem where to deal with the plastics, like the waste, the plastic waste of tubes and tires. So that much of the plastic is from the packaging and chemically stable, and that do not readily break down and even the decompose. So this plastic, the problems of tire, which cannot be the tires which cannot be melted and reused for the tires itself, it is a big problem. Some part of it can be recycled, but the material which the tire which are made from the materials that cannot be recycled and can be incinerated or shredded off only. Now, here by the method of incineration, we can reduce the solid waste volume by 90%. So which can produce a huge amount of heat that makes them a steam, where we can generate the electricity also, and which can produce a less carbon emissions than the fossil fuel power plants, which is the right method of the disposal of the solid waste to some extent. But as I told you that more than 13 to 14% of waste beyond that it is not being incinerated, because there is a problems of the carbon dioxide. Nowadays, we are taking up this carbon dioxide in the fuel form, and we are using it for the electricity purpose. Now we have to go for the waste to energy, where the carbon dioxide generation is found to be less. Even for the oil and the coal or the natural gas, there is a huge amount of carbon dioxide which is being generated as compared to the waste from waste it is being emerged. Now, when we are talking about the incinerators, there is a mass burn of the solid waste. Though we are using a certain modular techniques, and it is being refused and redragged. But as we all know that when we are using a furnace or the boilers, now there are certain the scrubbers we are using and the electrostatic precipitators for that. And sometimes, most of the times, we get it through this, if we give a proper incineration and a strike height at a particular distance, like a 30 to 40 meters away from the ground, where we can get the clean smoke also. So that we have to check the path of the smoke, because that when we are throwing the waste through the waste bunkers, it is being sent to the burner, and through the boiler, again this can be sent to the scrubbers, and here through the scrubbers, whatever the polluted water or treated and refused water that we can separate. Here, after electrostatic pressure, whatever the ash which is being collected, that can be, sometimes this ash may be hazardous, which can be sent to the landfill treatment. Now, there are also certain problems which are associated with the incineration, like air pollution problems. And here it can produce a large amount of ash. Apart from the landfill treatment, I think the ash is not being used, and the site selection often, which is found to be controversial. Now, when we are talking about the composting, it includes the food scraps, sewage sludge, and even the agriculture manures and the yard waste. This yard waste, which is being found to be reduced in landfills, which can be sold or distributed to the community. Now, by these three approaches, like a reduce, reuse, and recycle, waste can be certainly prevented. So, purchase the product with the less packaging. As I told you, that is very essential, because this is a life cycle of a tree. For example, if you see the life cycle of the tree, you will find that by this reducing the waste or reuse and recycling approach, how we can reduce the how we can sequester the carbon, how we can reduce the pollutants which are coming up through these practices. For example, reducing the waste, if we can reduce the waste at source, it is well and good, because you need to design the product in such a way that decreases the volume of solid waste in the waste stream itself. And as you know that since 1990s age, there are a lot of pollution prevention acts which are coming up, that we need to follow these acts, like a Water Act, Air Act of 1981, Water Act of 1974, and then the rules. So that there is a progressive decrease in the size and weight of the product as a result of technological improvements are there. Now there is a huge technological development which is going up from by developing indigenous technology. Now, refilling the gas beverage bottles, the heavier glass that cost more. So instead of that, can we use a glass, the other material for the bottles? As I told you, for example, Japan recycles almost all the bottles, which are reused 20 times, whereas in our country, it doesn't seem so. So even every tons of recycled paper saves. Every tons of recycled paper can save, for example, 17,000 gallons of water, 4,100 kilowatts of hours of energy, and 3 cubic yards of the landfill space. So whatever you can recycle, it should be kept for its recycling, like a glass bottles, newspapers, steel cans, plastic bottles, cardboards, office papers. This can be kept to recycle. So that, as I told you, that as far as the recycling of paper is concerned, US recycles 50%. Many developed countries, they are using at an even higher percent. So the recycling of glass, as much as 25% of the glass can be easily recycled. So which cost less than the new bottles, and which can be used to make the glass foil. Now, recycling of aluminium is also a big problem, because it can be easily, but only the thing is that it's proper collection and making it cake, which is very, very important, because making a new can from the recycled one, which costs far less than making a new one, that we should know. So recycling materials other than the aluminum, like a lead, gold, iron, steel, zinc, and the silver, and the metallic composition is also often unknown. That makes recycling very difficult most of the times. So that the recycling of plastic, as I told you, that less than 20% is recycled nowadays, but which is less expensive to make from the raw material. So recycling of tire, like we can recycle this tire for making the playground equipments, dance cans, garden hose, carpets, and even the roofing material. So more than 35% of the tires which are currently recycled to make the other products. Now, when we are talking about the integrated waste management treatment, you will see that once the waste which is segregated or separated at source, where most of the waste can be recycled, reused, because you know that, which can be act as a raw material for many of the newer product. which is very, very important, like a food or yard waste, which can be composted easily and which from them fertilizers can be made. And whatever the residue which is mixed with the waste, which cannot be separated, which can be sent to the incinerator. Hazardous waste can be sent to the hazardous waste management facility, and the other waste which can be easily can be sent for the manufacturer other product for its reuse or recycling for a newer products, which can be again sent for the processing and manufacturing unit, and again the newer products can be generated. Now, when we are talking about the hazardous waste, as I told you, that it is nothing but a hazardous discarded chemical that threatens the human health or the environment, which are found to be reactive, corrosive, explosive, and even the toxic metals. On one side, what are the hazardous materials like acids, CFC, cyanide, dioxins, heavy metals, explosives, and the metals like arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, they are found to be carcinogenic. So there are different types of hazardous waste which we normally found in the solid waste, like dioxins, polychlorinated biphenyls, radioactive waste, because you know that in medical profession that nowadays the radioactive substances are being very commonly used, which a huge amount of radioactive waste which is being created, which has a very long half-life. Now, the chemical accidents are always there in the industries, because you know that we should report if there are any chemical accidents. There is a National Response Center which is being notified, and which typically involves the oil, gasoline, and other petroleum spills. So when these current management practices are there, now there is a Resource Conservation and Recovery Act of 1976, which has been amended in 1994, and there are certain Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation Liability Act of 1980, which can be reported under that law. Now, cleaning up of all the existing hazardous waste, which is a Superfund program which needs to be taken. Near about 4 lakh waste sites are there for the hazardous waste management all over the India. There are several authorized hazardous waste management facilities in every state which has been established for the leaking chemical storage tanks and the drums where you can hand over to them. Even there are many pesticide dumps and the piles of mining waste is there, which must be cleaned up regularly. Now, biological treatment of the hazardous waste, there are 2 types of methods, like a bioremediation and the phytoremediation that we all know. And the management of all these waste which are produced now, like a source reduction, conversion to the less hazardous material, and the long-term storage of this hazardous waste. Now, this hazardous waste landfill practice is very popular, because you know that even after some processing and where the strength of the material has not been used, it can be sent for its safe landfill treatment. So like that, the combustion of synthetic or clay plastics which can be done. Even there is a native vegetation which can be done on the after dumping this hazardous waste into the soil. Here there is a biota layer which is being also in the form of crushed concrete is there. Then there is a hazardous waste which will be dumped into the soil, and even there are certain protective soil layers of 3 to 4 feet which is being done here. Then the collection of the leachate and the 3 feet of the compacted clean clay liners are there, and the detection of systems for the leachate is also being installed there. And then there is a 3 feet of compacted clay layer is there. So like that, whenever we give a landfill treatment to the solid hazardous waste, the care is to be taken that there should not be any kind of leachate, and this cannot be spilled, or the leachate cannot go deep into the our groundwater, because here we are using most of the times a high density plastic liners also to see that the leachate is to be avoided. Now, how should we deal with the hazardous waste? That is most important thing. Now we can use the integrated management of this hazardous waste, like it can be established at the 3 levels of priority, like a produce less, because see that the hazardous waste is to be produced very less, that accordingly our practices need to be modified and get changed. Then convert as much of it as possible to the less hazardous substances, because once if you cannot give a treatment, or if you cannot segregate the material at the source itself, or if you don't care of after the post treatment, then it becomes hazardous, and put the rest in long term or the safe storage. There are 3 methods that which should be 3 levels of that we should give a priority. So industry, they should try to find a substitute for the toxic hazardous substances for its see that the use or recycling of hazardous material within the industrial process itself, and to use them as a raw material for making the other products. So that this industrial hazardous waste, which are exchanged through the carcinogen, these clearing houses, where they are sold as a raw material for use by the other industries also. Now, most of the e-waste recycling efforts, they create the further hazards and can result into a serious threat to the other species also, that we should not forget. Now, as far as the integrated waste hazardous management approach is concerned, as I told you that we have to see that produce less hazardous waste. For that, we need to change the industrial processes to reduce or eliminate the hazardous waste production, and see that as much as material can be recycled and reused in the reuse. Then see that convert to the less hazardous or non-hazardous substances by the natural decomposition, even by the process of the methods of incineration and the thermal treatment to it. Even the chemical, physical, and biological treatment can be given to such kind of waste where its hazardous nature can be changed, and dilution it into the air, the water, where it is possible. So, and then rest of the waste you can put it in perpetual storage, like a landfill treatment or underground injection wells, or the surface impoundments, or even the underground salt formations can be done by putting them into deep into the soil. Now we can detoxify this hazardous waste by the process of bioremediation, which can, by employing the bacteria and enzymes that can help to destroy the toxic or hazardous substances or convert them into the less harmful compounds. Now, the phytoremediation also, there is a common method we are applying by using the natural or genetically engineered plants to absorb, filter, and remove the contaminants from the polluted soil and water, so that this hazardous waste can be incinerated to break down them and convert them into the harmless or less harmful chemicals, such as the carbon dioxide and the water. So detoxification of hazardous waste can be done by using a plasma arc torch, somewhat similar which is to be welding torch, to incinerate them at a very high temperature. Now, burial on land or the long-term storage of the hazardous waste and the toxic waste should be used only as the last resort, because you know that currently this burial on land is the most widely used method in the US and most of the countries, because largely it is the less expensive of all the methods. But the most common form of the burial is a deep well burial, where the liquid hazardous waste which are dumped under the pressure through the pipe into the dry porous rock formations for the beneath of aquifers that are being tapped for the drinking and the irrigation water. Now, the cost is low and the waste can often be retrieved if the problem develops, and the problems with the deep well disposal is always there, but there are limited number of such sites and the limited space within the time which is being obtained. So this waste can leak into the groundwater from the well shaft, and they can mitigate into the groundwater in unexpected ways also, migrate the groundwater into the unexpected ways also. So that we need to encourage the production of hazardous waste. Now, we can store some form of hazardous waste, which may have a liners to help contain the waste, and 70% of the storage ponds have no liners. We have to see that wherever we are storing this waste, we have to see that the dams do not have a liners, because eventually all the impoundments liners are likely to leak, and that could contaminate the groundwater. So that this liquid and solid hazardous waste, which can be put into drums and can be dumped, and other containers, and that can be buried in carefully designed and monitored secure hazardous waste landfills. Now, as for the storing of this hazardous waste in surface impoundment, which has advantage and disadvantage, because you know that when we are using a surface impoundments, there are certain advantages like a low cost. This waste can often be retrieved and even can store the waste indefinitely with the secure double liners. But there are certain disadvantages like a water contamination from the leaking liners and the air pollution from the volatile organics which are coming through the hazardous waste, and the output approach that encourages the waste reduction also, waste production also. Now, how this hazardous waste can be isolated from the and stored in a secure landfill waste. For example, if you want to store the hazardous waste here in containers, you will find that if we use a container, we can use a store into as a bulk form. Then there are certain vent pipes for the gas that we call it the gas vents. Then there's also topsoil over this. Then there's other material, sand is there. Then there's a plastic cover. Then there's an impervious clay collapse. Then there's a clay collapse. So like that here for detection of leak, there's a system. There is a detection leak system is there. Then there is always a groundwater monitoring hole is there. Therefrom you can monitor the groundwater, and even the reactive waste in dumps, whether it is there or not, whether it is active or not, that can be also checked. And then by using a double layer, we can stop the leaking. And here again, there is a double leachate collection system is there through which the leachate can be checked out. And avoiding this the waste by entering into the groundwater, earth, or even the water table is always being done, because every care is which is being taken for the hazardous waste, which can be isolated and stored in a secured hazardous landfill site. Now we can reduce your output of hazardous waste. What you can do as an individual, for example, avoid using the pesticides and other hazardous chemicals, or use them in the smallest amounts if it is possible. Unless use less harmful and usually cheaper substances instead of the commercial chemicals for most of the household cleaners. For example, use the vinegar to polish the metal and to decolorize and remove the stains, and the borax to remove the stains and mildews. That is also possible. So do not dispose the pesticides, paints, or the solvents, oil, anti-freezing agents, or the other hazardous chemicals by flushing them down to the toilet, pouring them down to the drain and burying them, throwing them into the garbage, or dumping them into the downstream drains. So instead of that, use hazardous waste disposal services which are available in the many cities. Hazardous waste disposal services which are available in many. So how we can make the transition to a more sustainable, low waste society? You will see that this is a symbolic picture where you can simply put the hazardous waste at a secured storage. Now, individuals have recognized to prevent the construction of the hundreds of incinerators. recycle the material at the garbage bins, dumping sites itself. And these rag pickers are the women, children, or the men from the lowest running cost in the society. So that the rag pickers, they contribute a great deal towards the waste management. And they are one of the focal points for the recycling of waste. So there are the persons who, in spite of all the dangers they faces, they are always eating the waste. Of course, they get money out of it, but who run and sell it to the industry that uses this waste matter as a raw material. So the main items for the collection are the plastics, papers, bottles, and the cans that we have to see. Now, the NGOs, role of NGOs is very, very important because NGOs can play a very important role in segregation of waste for its collection and handling over the local authorities. So they can also help in bringing the awareness and the consciousness. So creating the mass awareness and ensuring the public participation in segregation of the recyclable material and also the segregation of the waste source is very, very important. So that one need to ensure ensuring the public participation in the community-based primary collection system is very, very important. So organ of recyclable material at the site itself, even at the community level, is very, very important aspect that we have to take into the priority basis. So providing health education to the rag pickers and suggesting tools for the safety is also very important, and encourage the minimization of waste through in-house backyard composting, vermiculture, and the biogas generation. So that the cleaning of the municipal solid waste, since as we know that most of the time the roads and the roadsides are being cleaned up, and since the disposal of the municipal solid waste which poses a problem of pollution and health hazard, the pollution control boards, they are expected to take the actions against that. Though there is a direct responsibility of the management of the solid waste is on the local municipal authorities and the pollution control boards that need to have a close linkage with the local authorities in rendering the services in terms of carrying out the necessary surveys and providing the technological backups. So where does the garbage goes? As we know that normally we used to, there's always a practice throwing the garbage outside the cities at the remote places. Now this is solid waste management awareness program which needs to be brought up, because whatever the biofertilizers or the byproducts which are coming up through the solid waste, I think the small exhibitions have to be created among the children and among the every sections of the society. Now there are certain citizen responsibilities that we should not ignore, because avoiding litter and we need to ensure the delivery of the waste properly. And segregation at source itself is very, very important. And citizens have to take interest in solving the problem. So under the section 19 of the Act, citizens can give a complaint to the court for an offence after giving a 60 days notice. That we should not forget that right of the person, that to see that it is properly being segregated and disposed of and cleaned is our responsibility. So that let's join the hands to manage it well. So with this, I think I'll complete my speech on the hazardous waste, solid and hazardous management. So on this occasion, I must thank to the organizers of the conference for giving me an opportunity to share my views with all the participants. Thank you. If there are any questions and queries, you are most welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Patil, to give the deep insight into these important and these burning topics of the world today. And now the session is open to the questions. So I would like to request the participants to write their queries in the chat box, and also these questions will be asked by me to the speaker. And also I would like to mention here that you will have to give the feedback link which has to be given in the YouTube streaming link also, and after that you will get the certifications from there. So right now, sir, I am taking the questions from the audience. Dr. Pranoti Birapurkar is asking that what are the recent advancements in generating energy from biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste?
Nowadays, there are certain compactors which are being used, and the incinerators which are being used, and the waste which is being sent to the boilers, where the steam which is being generated, and through that the energy which is being generated, electricity which is being generated. Now it is practiced in the metros, particularly like Pune, or even in Nashik, here in Maharashtra, or even in Bhopal. It has been tried, and there are many success stories where the electricity which is being generated through the solid waste. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Now, the next question is, what do you think? This is my question only. That, as per your opinion, what do you think mixing the hazardous waste while health problems and the impact on the environment?
See, madam, initially every waste is not hazardous. When it
Yes.
when it becomes hazardous, once if you don't give a proper treatment or we neglect that it is not being given early treatment, then it becomes hazardous. So that if there is a proper segregation of the waste and segregated waste is to be transported securely and it is being given a proper treatment, then it necessarily may not be hazardous. But particularly the commercial waste or a waste which is coming up from the chemical industries or industries, it should be properly dealt and separately dealt. It should be given a proper treatment. And if it is not possible to treat at the manufacturing site or at the site itself, you can hand over this hazardous waste safely to the Hazardous Waste Management Authority, which is being established in every state. So if it is handed over separately, I think there is no menace of hazardous waste. But if it ignore while segregating it, and if you want to keep it for a storage for a longer period of time, then it becomes hazardous.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, sir. And now the next question is from Dr. Rajneesh Dubey. He's asking how to manage e-waste.
See, I think there are only 2 to 3 methods for managing the e-waste, like a shredding of, the computer waste, mobile waste, and all other electronic waste. I think there is no proper method which is being particularly installed because we are not found to be the manufacturer of all this e-waste. We can only collect this waste and after mechanical shredding, it can be again sent back into the manufacturing units. That is the only method which is being practiced here. Because as we are not the manufacturer, we do not know which kind of the chemicals or which kind of the particular chemicals which are used into the sensors and the other anodes or diodes into this electronic material, and that is what it is not being properly treated. The countries like India, where we can just either send it to the reuse, or we can, after mechanical shredding, we can send it back to the manufacturing unit. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Because we
Yes,
are not the producers of electronic goods. India is not a producer of electronic goods. Only 2 to 3% of the requirement that only we can produce, we are producing here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. And now the next question is from Monty Vijayvargiya, a student. With the increase in number of manufacturing industries and thus the waste in India, what measures should be taken by the industries to prevent this waste accumulation?
I think in my presentation, in my lecture, I told you that.
Yes, yes.
There are certain management practices which we need to adopt subsequently. First, to see that the less waste is to be produced. There should be enough modification into the manufacturing process so that as much as the raw material which needs to be necessarily converted into a product. Because you know that in spite of every advancement in the technology, even in the manufacturing units, we are not being able to convert the raw material beyond of 50% to the product. So, and lot of consumables, huge amount of consumables like water, air, and other chemicals, we are using it for converting the raw material into the product. And there's a huge quantum of waste which is being generated. But this is one thing. Second thing, once we install a pollution control technologies and control equipments into the industry at the beginning, afterwards, after a few years, the production capacity has been tremendously increased. But at the same time, the waste management facility is not being properly dealt, properly looked into it. Looking into the carrying capacity of the control tech, the production needs to be enhanced. It is not being happening because we looked all these west side as a part of law, and we wanted to hide ourselves from following the laws of the pollution control. And what we do, either we hand over this a partial waste to the authorized agency, and most of the waste we normally use to hide and throw it in an illegal way. I think there are several ways to manage this biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. So this degradable waste can be dealt in the premises, factory premises, or it can be handed over for such a vendors. We can convert this biodegradable waste onto the other byproduct, which has also a market, which is also having a marketplace today. About the non-biodegradables, in fact, there are certain agencies where they can reuse and recycle these non-biodegradables, and see that, because we let us tell me the things. We are Indians. We believe in the first quality product. We are not habituated to use the second quality product or reusable product, because still it is available in the country. There's a huge potential of manufacturing, and where we get, India is a big hub for all the imported items, where we get every usable items from all over the world, because India is a big market for that. And that is what we don't go for any recycled or second product. Even for the cloths, paper and other things, we normally don't encourage by using these products. But the most of the things, what can we manage at our own level? As I told you, that use less, number one. Use as and when it is required. See that after use it, keep it at a proper and safe place. See that the recycled material can be segregated, reused material can be separated, biodegradable material can be again separated and separate dustbin. So you need not to throw everyday waste outside your house. But what we do, those to some extent we segregate it. But while taking it to the common facility, or those who are coming for the collection of the waste, we normally give all the waste together to them. And he used to put one cart in one cart, and again it becomes a problem. So segregated waste, now it is a duty of every citizen that whatever the waste you segregated, you need to hand over it to the proper authority, because who are looking into it properly. Second thing is that to see that, because like that, we are paying a tax for it. We are paying even the collection tax and the treatment tax of it. It is our duty to see that whatever the waste we are putting, wherever we are putting, it is being properly treated or not. Because the time has come to look into it personally. Because earlier, till now, we were all the time dependent on the system, that is the municipal authorities and municipal corporations, municipalities, that they are not sufficient to deal these problems properly, because there are several risks that we have been put into that we have been put into it by them. So it is our duty to, as far as the efficiency and effectiveness of the technology is concerned in the industry, because in the name of the additional investment, normally the industrialists, they discourage the treatment, installation of newer treatment facility technologies and treatment facilities into the industry. We have to see that, because there are several industrial organizations, the public city organizations, there are several NGOs. Through them, I think we should have to have a watchdog that whether these industrial installations are properly dealing with the waste or not. Because see that normally all the restrictions have been put on the city dwellers. But as far as the industrialists and other the waste generators are concerned, I think we need to focus on them, because industries are in and around of the cities, and we are found to be the first victims of all kinds of waste which is coming up, all kinds of the pollutants which are coming up. See that the treatment facilities to be properly installed, their efficiency is being maintained. Particularly for example, the treatment facilities like a STP, sewage treatment plants, which are being installed into the industries, or CETPs, common effluent treatment plants. Even in many of the cities, there is no common effluent treatment plants. All the waste which throws through the tributaries and rivers and nalas, that ultimately joins to the irrigated drinking water. So that we have to see that this all should be kept away. And as I told you initially, that West should not be looked into from the West point of view. It should be looked into the West is an opportunity for the wealth. So what I would like to say is that corporations and these municipalities, they should amend the laws, or the government should amend the laws and see that should be built up. Are you getting me? अगर आज हम सोचते हैं कि हमको हमारा कचरा बेचना है, let us take an example of your paper, newspaper, where it is get bought. You have opportunity to sell it. वो कितने में बेचता है वो जरूरी नहीं है, वो 10 रुपए मिलते हैं कि 5 रुपए मिलते हैं उससे कोई मायने नहीं है, लेकिन वो बिकता है इसलिए हम उसको सीधा बिल्कुल उसको अच्छा रखते हैं और हमको भी हैंड ओवर टू दी बायर. उससे कितने पैसे मिलते हैं हमको? अगर हमने 4 महीने का भी हमने पेपर बेचा है तो हार्डली 200-300 रुपए हमको मिलते हैं, लेकिन 4 महीने उसको संभाल के रखते हैं. अगर ऐसा ही वेस्ट अगर हम बेचने जाएंगे और सिग्रीगेटेड वेस्ट अगर लेने वाला होगा तो वी विल बी ऑल्सो रेडी टू सेल इट. हम उसको इसके लिए उसका सिग्रीगेशन भी प्रॉपर करेंगे और हमको उसके पैसे कितने मिलते नहीं है, लेकिन पैसे मिलते हैं बोले तो हमारे इंडियन लोग उसको उसमें बिजनेस देखते हैं. और रैक पिकर क्या पैसा मिलता है इसलिए वो दिन भर घूम घूम के कचरा सिग्रीगेट करते और दे हैंड ओवर टू द जंक पिकर्स. लेकिन ऐसा अगर हमने किया, ऐसा अलग अलग वेस्ट हमने सिग्रीगेट किया, इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट भी उसको कोई खरीदने वाला रहा, उसके ऊपर भी कोई और इंडस्ट्रियल कोई अगर वेंडर्स रहे, इंडस्ट्री का वेस्ट जो है, जैसे अभी फार्मास्यूटिकल वेस्ट है, वो वेस्ट सिग्रीगेट करके दूसरा कोई एक आधा इंडस्ट्रीज लेके उससे कोई बाय प्रोडक्ट तैयार करेगा. या ऑटोमोबाइल वेस्ट है, उसमें कोई वेंडर्स अलग लेके कोई ऑटोमोबाइल में कुछ उसका रिफाइनमेंट लेके कुछ ऑयल रिफाइन करेंगे या और कुछ रिफाइन करेंगे या क्रोमियम उसमें से रिफाइन करेंगे, तो इसमें से जो वेस्ट जो है वेल्थ में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा. ओनली लेवल रीयूज में करो, करने से कुछ नहीं होगा. इट शुड बी कम इनटू द प्रैक्टिस, एंड फॉर दैट देयर आर सेवरल कंट्रोल फैसिलिटीज व्हिच आर बीइंग इंस्टॉल्ड, इनोवेटेड रिसेंटली. लेट अस टेक एग्जांपल. हमारे घर में का जो कचरा है, वो घर में का कचरा आज घर में आप उसको डिग्रेड करके आप बेच सकते हो, लेकिन कचरा बोलते हैं हमारे इसमें दिमाग में आ जाता है कि कचरा घर में, और कहाँ रखेंगे? यहाँ हमको रहने के लिए जगह नहीं है, हम घर में कहाँ रखेंगे? हमारे घर में वॉशिंग मशीन होता है, हमारे घर में पीठ की गिरनी होती है कि नहीं, पिसने की गिरनी होती है, हमारे घर में बाकी सब होता है, रेफ्रिजरेटर होता है, where we don't eat the material, the items from the refrigerator all the time. रेफ्रिजरेटर का यूज क्या करते हैं हम लोग? यूज टू कीप 24 आवर्स एंड ऐसे भी हमारे देश अवर कंट्रीज क्लाइमेट इज अ ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट है, ऐसे भी फूड हमारे पास 24 घंटे 36 घंटे बाहर भी रह सकता है. फिर भी हम मिल्क एंड अदर प्रोडक्ट्स वी यूज टू कीप रेफ्रिजरेटेड एंड वी डोंट यूज इट बियॉन्ड 24 आवर्स. 24 घंटे के बाद हम ज्यादा यूज नहीं करते उसका, लेकिन हम इसको इंस्टॉल करते हैं ना. ऐसे पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल फैसिलिटी ऐसी अगर कोई हमारे पास कोई छोटी छोटी कम्युनिटी लेवल पे, इंडिविजुअल लेवल पे अगर इंस्टॉल्ड है, तो वी नीड टू अडॉप्ट एट द सोसाइटी लेवल, एट द इंडिविजुअल लेवल, एंड सी दैट एटलीस्ट माई कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द वेस्ट इज टू बी, वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मैंने कि मेरा वेस्ट तो मैं उसका डिस्पोज करूंगी या उसका प्रॉपर यूज करूंगी. इतना भी अगर हम कम करेंगे तो आई थिंक आवर कंट्रीब्यूशन इन दिस फील्ड विल बी इमेंस. वो हम लोग ने करना चाहिए. सी इंस्टॉलेशन ऑफ different and big technology and advanced technology will not be only solution for this. Change in approach to look into the West and converting West into the wealth from one cradle to another cradle. I think this is also one of the bigger solutions of dealing with the West. That approach we need to change in our side. उसमें आज पहले हम लोग डिपेंडेंट रहते थे कारपोरेशन पे या कोई मशीनरी पे, आज हमको इंडिविजुअल मिशन पे काम करना है. आई शुड, मेरे रूम का कचरा का रिस्पॉन्सिबल मैं हूं और वो मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है दैट आई शुड लुक आफ्टर. आज घर में हम 4-5 लोग रहते हैं, हमारे घर में की जिसको कुछ काम नहीं है बाहर, वो घर में काम करते रहता है. ही ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू लुक आफ्टर द क्लीनिंग द थिंग्स. और जो बाहर के काम करने के बहाने बाहर जाते हैं, वो घर में सब कचरा करते हैं. That approach needs to be changed. ये अप्रोच चेंज होने में जरूरी है. I think here the biggest solution is there. Treatment is another part, but at the same time, segregation at source, less generation, and shouldering the responsibility of disposal of the waste at our individual level. Thank you.
Rightly said, sir. Thank you so much. And I just suspect that due to time constraints, we would not be able to take further questions. We will keep these questions for the next speaker now. Okay. So thank you so
for
much,
being
sir.
here.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. Please, thank you. And now, with wholeheartedly, I would like to request Dr. Nandini Phanse, State Convener, Microbiology Society of India, to say a few words to motivate the participants and the students over here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Shivani. Respected dignitaries who are present in this seminar, Dr. Deshmukh sir, Principal of Acropolis College, and Dr. Garg, very good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the Microbiology Society, I congratulate Acropolis College, the Bioscience Department, for organizing this wonderful seminar on the topic of great concern, that is waste management. As Dr. Patil rightly said, our waste is our responsibility and we need to take care of it. It was really a great message that we are going to take home with us. So on this occasion, I'd like to congratulate the students who have received who have been felicitated by Microbiology Society. Vijay Varghia, Mudrika Bharadwaj, congratulations, keep it up, and I'm sure you'll get highly motivated with your teachers, your staff who is present in the department are always there for you. The Microbiology Society has been striving for the upliftment and for the motivation of the students under the able guidance of Dr. A.M. Deshmukh. He is always behind us. So any opportunity, take the opportunity, explore the opportunity, learn with passion. That is the only message we would like to give all my students. Learn with passion, love your subject. That will always take you ahead. All the best, dear students. Wish you all the best. Thank you, organizers. Thank you, Dr. Pranoti. Thank you, Shivani, for organizing this lovely seminar. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for these motivating words. It will surely boost the morale of the students and the participants all over here. So now moving ahead in the program, now I'd like to request Dr. Niharika Shivhare to please introduce our second speaker, Dr. Vinod Garg. Niharika ma'am, please.
Thank you, Shivani ma'am. Good afternoon to all the present dignitaries. It gives me speaker of today's seminar, Professor Garg. Professor V.K. Garg is working as Professor and Dean, School of Environment and Earth Sciences, Central University of Punjab, Bhatinda. He completed his PhD in 1992 from CCS Haryana Agricultural University, Hisar. He has more than 25 years of teaching and research experiences. He is actively involved in research field of solid waste management, bioremediation, pollution monitoring, and radio ecology. He has guided 18 students for their doctoral research. He has published more than 200 research papers in different national and international journals. He has handled projects funded by BRNS, MOEFC, DST, UGC, etc. His H index is 49 at Scopus and 62 at Google Scholar. He has more than 13,000 citations, which is a very big number. So with this introduction, I request Dr. Garg to proceed further. Thank you very much.
Yes, very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I'm thankful to the management of Acropolis College Indore, to the principal and to Dr. Pranoti Belapurkar and Shivani ji. About a week ago, I got a telephone call from an unknown number from Shivani Dubey ji. I didn't know before her and this college. Although I have been to Indore a number of times, but most of the time I have visited IIT Indore. But for the first time, I came to know about this college. So I said, okay, I'll be delivering one lecture on this topic. And I think my job has been made very easy by Dr. Satish Patil. He has already covered almost all the topics of solid waste management. So very little is left for me, but still I would like to be talking on this topic. So let me share my presentation with you. That is on solid waste management. Friends, there is a very famous novel. The name of that novel is Tin Drum. And that novel is written by a very famous German writer. He got Nobel Prize for that in 1999. That is Günter Grass. He visited Kolkata 3 times. And he was living in Frankfurt and he came to Kolkata. So then he was asked a question about the sixth sense of Kolkata and Frankfurt by a journalist. And his reply was, Kolkata is a pile of shit dropped from the heaven. Kolkata is nothing but the excrete of the god. And about Frankfurt, he said, this is nothing but the construction waste thrown by the god on the earth. Means what he wanted to say, he was telling the filthiness of the Kolkata that was existing at that time in the Kolkata. That is not the case of Kolkata. I think that is the case of almost average Indian city. And then Professor Patil was talking that we have to change our habits. I agree with him. Actually, there is a problem with we Indians. We all is NIMBY syndrome. And I'll tell you why. NIMBY means not in my backyard.
Yeah.
You have seen Indore is a cleanest city, as told by Shivaniji. They are going for the 5th time applying for this ranking. But this NIMBY syndrome may not be in the people of Indore, but this is existing in the people of most of the cities. You might have seen in the evenings or early in the morning that what people do, they take the garbage of their house in a polythene, and wherever they get a place, they dispose it. And they think that their waste is managed and that is treated. No, friends, that waste is disposed in the outskirts of that city. But let me tell you, that waste is present here and there around us, and a day will come when this waste will show its ill effects on we people. And as far as the quantity of this solid waste is generated in India, I want to say one thing. If all the solid waste that is generated in India is loaded in the trucks, and if we make a line of those trucks from head to tail, let me tell you that line may be 300 kilometers long, starting from Delhi and up to the Gwalior or Agra. This much solid waste is generated in India every day. So today I'll be talking about some of the solid waste issues, and I'll be talking a little bit about some particular kind of waste, that how we can handle them, and a little bit I'll be talking about the legal. Yes, so if I start with this word, that what is a solid waste? Solid waste, this is by the legal definition. This is any unwanted material disposed by human activities that can neither flow into water streams nor escape into atmosphere as in gaseous form, and that is called as solid waste. Solid waste also include the sewage sludge. Solid waste also include this animal excreta. Yes. So if we come to the classification of solid waste, there are a number of ways to classify this solid waste. But the most common way to classify the solid waste is on the basis of its generation. On the basis of its generation, the household waste that is generated from houses, agricultural waste that is generated from our agricultural activities, commercial waste that is generated from various commercial activities, and industrial waste, the waste that is generated by our industries. Actually, generation of waste is not a new phenomenon. People say that generation of waste was started on this earth the day man appeared on the earth. According to Bible, that Adam met Eve and apple was given by Adam to Eve. For eating, apple was eaten and its seed. That very day, solid waste generation was started on this earth since the first man appeared. But there is a difference in the solid waste generated at that time and the solid waste today we have to handle. Because at that time, whatever solid waste was generated, that was biodegradable in nature. Plenty of land was available, population was less, waste was non-toxic. So whatever waste was generated, that degraded naturally by the microorganisms and other flora and fauna. But since 1850, since the industrial revolution had started, the nature of waste has completely changed. Since 1850, as I was telling before that, most of the waste was biodegradable, but not chemical waste. We have so many different kind of wastes are there since this industrial revolution had started. And because of this, these policymakers and scientists have to intervene for the management of this solid waste. Yes, Professor Patil was talking a number of technologies that can be used for the management of solid waste. Friends, no single technology can be used for the management of solid waste because solid waste is highly heterogeneous in nature. The solid waste generated in Bhatinda may be different from the solid waste generated in the city of Dr. Patil or solid waste generated in Indore. It may be totally different. It depends upon the season. It depends upon the economic status of the community. It depends upon the agricultural practices. It depends upon the food habits. So it depends on so many things. So before we move toward the management of solid waste or treatment of solid waste, we have to understand what are the constituents which are present in the solid waste. So the waste that is coming from the residential sources that mainly contain food waste. In case of India, small quantities of paper, plastic, etc. is there. In case of industrial waste, lot of packaging waste, some ashes, sludges, and some inert materials are there. As far as commercial waste means the waste that is generated by these commercial plazas and shops that mainly contain plastic, paper, and construction and demolition waste. And if I come to the agricultural waste, huge quantity of the crop residues are produced in our country, and animal waste, and even the soil crop, these all come under the agriculture waste. I think you might be knowing in the month of November, Haryana, Punjab, Delhi, Chandigarh, and some parts of Rajasthan and some parts of Uttar Pradesh, they were facing this smoke problem that was coming from our to Delhi, this Diwali, very next day to Diwali, there was a heavy rain and this all was settled down. And this is a phenomena that we see every year in the month of November and December, and that is only and only due to the solid waste that is generated by the agricultural activities. You may not be facing that phenomena in Madhya Pradesh or in Indore or in Maharashtra, but this is a very severe problem that is created by the burning of this agricultural waste. We will be discussing a little more about it in detail later on. Yes, as I was talking to you, huge quantities of solid waste are generated in our different major cities. I have taken some data from the website of Central Pollution Control Board, and I collection and transportation of the solid waste. A very small fraction of their budget they are spending on the treatment of the solid waste. This is one gray area where we have to look that how to increase this expenditure. अगर हमने इकट्ठा कर भी लिया, उसको ट्रांसपोर्ट करके किसी एक जगह पे डंप कर भी दिया, how it is going to sort out our problem. You might be knowing about Delhi. There are 2-3 dump sites in Delhi. One of them, very famous dump site, solid waste dump site of Delhi is Bhalsawa dump site. And now at Bhalsawa dump site, every day 2,000 the solid waste is disposed. And its height is increasing day by day. Recently, in the month of January or so, Delhi government has taken a decision that we are going to do the biomining from here. So I have used another term, biomining. What the people are doing, because most of the waste that is disposed in the Bhalsawa dump site, they are mining it because that has already composted, and they will now be using it as manure in our agricultural field. Every day they are mining from there about 4,200 metric tons of waste. So 2,400 waste is going to the site and 4,200 they are mining, and they have put a target that we are going to reduce the height of this waste mountain in Bhalsawa, Delhi by 11 to 12 meter in a year. For the treatment technologies, you have to understand the composition of the any waste, because only then you can decide upon the type of technology that you can use. It's very difficult to give a composition to the solid waste because it is highly heterogeneous in nature. But Central Pollution Control Board, Government of India, has given some very empirical composition to the Indian solid waste. And according to that I have shown here in this slide, Indian solid waste contain about 43 to 45% of organic matter. And this is that organic content that can be managed with the help of some biological method. Here comes the role of biotechnology student, microbiology student, and microbiology scientist and biotechnology scientist, that what new they develop, what kind of microorganism are there that can be used to manage this waste or to convert this waste into good quality manure in time. Okay, this slide I have taken from a research paper that has been published by a scientist from TERI, New Delhi. He has projected the trend of municipality solid waste generation in India after 100 years of independence. Friends, at present, we are producing about 100,000 million metric tons of solid waste per day. And this is going, if business go as usual, जैसा आज प्रोड्यूस है, अगर इसी रेट से भी ये बढ़ता जाए इंडिया में, तो ये कम से कम भी 250% ज्यादा होगा after 100 years of independence. How to handle this waste? At present, we are dumping the waste, and for the dumping of waste, land is required. And then how much land will be required for the disposal of this waste? If you see this figure, at present kilometer of land, but after 100 years of independence, we will be requiring about 1,300 square kilometer of land, means about 3 times more land will be required in another 27 years than what we are requiring today. Friends, land is not there in India. Already we are short of land. You can acquire anything in India, but you cannot acquire land. So where from this land will come? We have to think, being the student of microbiology, being the student of biotechnology, that what kind of technologies we develop so that the minimum quantity of the waste go to the landfills, or no quantity go to the landfills, only that quantity of the waste go to the landfills that cannot be managed by one or the other method. Yes, whenever I travel to different places, I usually click the photographs of the waste. These are some of the photographs which I have clicked while traveling to Delhi, to Faridabad, or to other areas of Haryana and Punjab. you can see that stray animals are visiting this site, birds are visiting this site, and at some place you can see the fire is there. And yes, this is another photograph. In one photograph, I am sitting with the rag pickers only. Recently, I was invited by a municipality of a city, that what to do of that mountain of the waste which has made by dumping of waste in the outskirts of that city. When I visited that mountain, so then I clicked these photographs and I talked these people, those who were recovering this material from that mountain. Families were living in the vicinity of that mountain of the garbage. उस कूड़े के पहाड़ के नीचे 120 families रहती थी, and they told me that they are getting their livelihood from this waste. So friends, one thing I can say, if 120 families can get their livelihood from this waste, it means this is not a waste. This is a resource. It means this is a resource that has been put at a wrong place. So we have to see with a different eye on the waste, and we have to find out the ways, as told by Dr. Patil. We have to look that how this waste can be managed at our home. This can be managed at our locality level. Only then we can do something for this waste. Yes, these are some another photographs which I have clicked, and you can see these rag pickers are visiting this site for the recovery of the material. While reading a research paper, I found that this uh, 10,000 of the waste, means different material they recover. The quantity of that is about 10,000 tons. That is approximately 10% of the total waste which is generated at the domestic level. Yes, this is the picture of that mountain that the municipality of that city wanted us to suggest them something for the management of this waste. We suggested something. We suggested them this biomining and that all. And here, one thing which was very disturbing for me, you can see some very exotic kind of birds are visiting this site. Friends, if they are visiting this site, they may get some kind of infection, and that infection, because this is purely raw waste, that is having all kind of pathogens, and then that infection through these birds may spread to other birds. Similarly, may also be affected by one or the other disease. Yes, these two photographs I have taken from the internet. Recently, I was reading a report, and in that report, it was written that about 50% cows in the Gaushala, they die because of the plastic in their body. Hota kya hai? We people, I'll say only by ignorance, whatever waste is generated in our houses, we take it into polythene और उसको हम बंद करके और बाहर फेंक देते हैं. Now cow is not having hands like us that it can open the polythene or it can eat that waste. तो काउ जो है हमारी ये खा लेती है पूरे का पूरा पॉलीथीन, क्योंकि उसमें कुछ कुछ फूड आइटम रहता है. And it has also been seen that many times people dispose their syringes, shaving blades, glass pieces, छोटा this photograph from the internet that some veterinary doctors, they operated this cow and about 52 kilogram waste was recovered or removed from the stomach of this cow. Friends, on one side we say gau hamari mata, and on the other side we are handling or we are doing this kind of treatment to our gau mata. So we have to see this also, and this all is happening because of the wrong practices used by us or adopted by us for the disposal of the solid waste. Yes, this photograph I have taken when I was traveling by my car. So at one place I stopped near agricultural field, and you see this biomedical waste has been disposed in the agricultural field. Friends, it may be containing many, you can say, medicines, it may be containing so many things. These syringes may be having some kind of infection. Ultimately, through runoff water, it may go to some water body, or this may go to some, you can say, soil, or means these things may enter into our food chains. And this is also happening because of the wrong practices used by us for the disposal of waste, just to save a little money. If we spend that little money, we can say our total humanity or to our total mankind from the ill effects of these wastes. Yes, when we talk about waste management, that time we have to follow the waste management hierarchy. Basically, what is waste management hierarchy? Waste management hierarchy is the order of preferences, means what should be our most favored method, option for the treatment, for the disposal treatment of the solid waste, and what should be the least favored option. So here it has been shown in the form of a triangle. This is a very standard diagram. Friends, prevention is the most favored option. Then second is the minimization. Third is the reuse. Fourth, recycle. If this cannot be done, then go for the energy recovery. And disposal should be the last option for the disposal of solid waste. Unfortunately, in our case, disposal is the first option for the management of solid waste. So remember this. Yes, in this slide I have shown different methods of the waste disposal which are used at present by we people. I'll not go by the merit or demerit, but I have mentioned all the methods. Open dumping is very common method of solid waste disposal in our country. As I told in the very beginning, we take our waste in a polythene and dump outside. Even in many of the cities, average town, whatever waste is produced along some roadside is disposed in the outskirts. And open dumping is not a recommended method, because open dumping is not a method of the treatment and disposal of the waste. This is nothing. Rather, we are doing some very harmful things, because when we put this waste somewhere, as I have shown you some photographs, that time rag pickers, stray animals, birds, so many things may be visiting that place. That may lead to problems. Then open burning. Open burning is a very common method that is practiced in the average cities. What people do, I have seen in Bhatinda. कभी कभी बाजार में जब सुबह जाता हूं तो every shopkeeper is collecting his waste in front. They have managed the waste. Friends, you have not done anything. They have not done anything. They have just converted the phase of their waste. Earlier, this waste was present in the solid form. Now it is present in the gaseous form. Means they have polluted the another component of the environment, that is atmosphere. And when you burn the solid waste, ultimately some material remain over there. Burning के बाद 10-12% तो बचता है. So whatever toxicity was present in the waste, that get concentrated. And then again from here, it is mixed with our municipality waste, or it is sometime it is going to our you can say sewer line, etc. So this is also a common method used by people, but this is not a good method. Then third method may be hog feeding. आपने देखा होगा छोटे शहरों में सुअर जो हैं गलियों में घूमते रहते हैं. This is also very dangerous, because when hogs are fed on the raw sewage and human fecal matter, that time this may lead to a number of problems in the human beings. You are a student of biology, you might be knowing about Taenia solium. The vector of Taenia solium is pig. Either it is present in the man or it is present in the pig. जो आदमी सुअर का मीट खाते हैं पक्का उनकी बॉडी में टेनिया सोलियम मिलेगा. But in recent times, a number of cases are reported. ऐसे से लोग जो हैं वो रिपोर्ट हुए हैं जो कि they never feed on this pork, but Taenia solium has been found in their alimentary canal. तो जब उसका थोड़ा स्टडी किया गया तो ये पता लगा कि टेनिया सोलियम जो है इट मे बी प्रेजेंट इन द सीवेज वाटर. एंड आजकल एक एग्रीकल्चर शुरू हुआ है नई तरह का, वी कॉल इट पेरी अर्बन एग्रीकल्चर. पेरी अर्बन एग्रीकल्चर इज दैट एग्रीकल्चर दैट इज डन इन द आउटस्कर्ट्स ऑफ द सिटीज, जिसमें सब्जी वब्जी उगाते हैं लोग. एंड दिस सीवेज वाटर इज यूज्ड for this irrigation. और हम लोगों को आदत होती है ना, ये रेडी वाला जब लेके आता है गाजर कुछ, उसका तोड़ के उठा के बिना धोए खा लिया. तो friends, take care of this. Many a times the vegetables which you use, they may have been cultivated by using sewage as the irrigation water. So do the proper, you can say, washing and that all, and only then you use these raw vegetables. Then landfilling is considered as the ultimate method of the solid waste disposal. But many a times it has been seen, Dr. Patil was telling that we should have a lining, we should have concrete at the bottom and that all. But in India, none of these approaches are used. There are very few places where proper principles of science and technology are used in a landfill to avoid any kind of leaching from the landfill waste to the groundwater or runoff. बड़ा कम हम लोग एफर्ट करते हैं उसके लिए. Most of the landfill site in India are nothing but the open dumps. And for the landfill site, another requirement is the land. In India, as I told in the beginning, you can get anything, but you will not get land. Incineration is considered as very good method to get rid of solid waste. In case of incineration, temperature should be in the range of 800 to 1100 degrees Celsius. But it has been seen, a study was carried out by NGO of Delhi, CSE. They people published one report, and according to that, most of the incinerators in India operate at a temperature of 400 to 500 degrees Celsius. जब वो इतने कम टेम्परेचर पे चलते हैं, प्लास्टिक इज प्रेजेंट ओवर देयर, वेस्ट में जो प्लास्टिक रहता है, और व्हेन दे आर operating at low temperature, that time some very toxic carcinogenic gases like dioxins and furands are produced. And for the running of the incinerators, electricity is required. And there is one problem with the Indian waste. Indian municipality waste cannot be used, you can say, disposed through the incinerator, because only that waste is good for the incineration, which is having high calorific value and low moisture content. This is good for the Western countries. But Indian waste is having low calorific value and high moisture content. बहुत ज्यादा moisture रहती है, क्योंकि हमारे वेस्ट में तो खाने बनने की चीजें ज्यादा होती हैं. Then recycling is a wonderful method. Only those societies in future will survive which will be doing the recycling of the things. Recycling is the golden rule to the waste management. Then there are several methods by which energy can be recovered from the waste. One of them is pyrolysis. Making the use of pyrolysis, you can produce this syngas, and that can be used as fuel. Biomethanation is a very good approach. In case of biomethanation, biodegradable waste with the help of microorganism can be converted into, you can say, biogas, and then that biogas can be used as fuel at our houses. And the slurry which we get out of this, that is a very good quality manure that can be used in our agricultural field. Friends, there are a number of villages in the Punjab. पंजाब के गांव में अभी लोग क्या करने लगे हैं, they have started to have the community biogas plant. गांव के बाहर एक बायोगैस प्लांट लगाते हैं, and then they give the biogas plant supply to the every house. हर घर के अंदर वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का गैस कनेक्शन देते, और बदले में उनसे सिर्फ गोबर लेते हैं. You have to provide your dung to this plant. People means these are certain NGOs which are doing this kind of activity in the villages. I'll suggest you, there is a village, Sukha Singhwala. Sukha Singhwala is a village near to Bhatinda. That is a very neat, clean village. You will find a number of videos of that village. Please visit on the internet and you will find very interesting things. There is another village named as Marwaha, something like is the name of that village. Over there, पंजाब के बहुत सारे लोग विदेश में रहते हैं, so whenever they come back, they want to do something for their own village, they do this kind of things. Then livestock feeding, agricultural waste can be used as feed for the animals, but all kind of agricultural waste cannot be used as feed. I want to tell you one story here. आपको एक बात पता होगा that in Haryana, Punjab, this rice straw is not used as feed for the animals. Actually, what happened in 1970s in Punjab, there is a district named as Hoshiarpur district. वहां पे लोग ये राइस लगाते थे, and they used rice straw as feed for their cattle. अब वो अपनी भैंसों को खिलाते थे उसको. तो they found after a certain period कि उनकी गायों के, भैंस के कान टूट गए हैं, सींग टूट गए और पूंछ टूट गई है। अब यू इमेजिन, जिस गाय की पूंछ टूटी हुई है, भैंस की पूंछ टूटी हुई है, सींग टूटा हुआ है और कान टूटे हुए हैं, इट्स इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू इज वेरी लेस। कोई नहीं खरीदेगा ऐसी को, बिकॉज ऑल द ब्यूटी ऑफ द बफेलो हैज गॉन। So this was a very big issue over there. Then lot of research was done on the by the Punjab Agriculture University people, and they found that silica content is very high in that soil, and these rice varieties uptake this silica, and because of this silica, ये सारे का सारा animals में आया है, ये जो उनका loss हुआ है tail का, ears का और उनके सींग का। So since then people have stopped. And another interesting finding was given by the agriculture university scientists, that these are the imported varieties which are having high uptake of silica, but the Indian basmati is not having uptake of silica. This is another very important information for you biology and biotechnology people, how to develop some more varieties making the genes of this biotechnology, this basmati, so that these varieties can be used in those areas, cultivated in those areas where silica content is high. Then fuel briquettes is another method. In fuel briquette, this is very common in Punjab. Actually, what people are doing here, whatever waste, agricultural waste particularly, is generated, that is having high calorific value. Particularly that waste that cannot be used as livestock feed. तो वो लोग क्या करते हैं, they take this waste, mainly brassica का waste लिया, या राइस स्ट्रॉ वगैरह का जो राइस का जो वेस्ट लिया, इस सारे को मिला के दे कन्वर्ट देम ब्रिकेट्स ये अपना कुछ लकड़ी के जैसा बन जाता है, एंड देन दे सेल इट टू द इंडस्ट्रीज एंड oils. Similarly, now in Punjab, I have seen a number of machines where this cow dung is converted into briquettes, although that is not a very good technology. Briquettes are ultimately as fuel. Then composting, you know, this is one very good method where waste can be converted into fuel. Not fuel, can be converted into manure. Then vermicomposting is also a method of composting where this waste can be converted into, you can say, manure or fertilizer, biofertilizer with the help of microorganisms. These both processes are almost same. Since we use a combination of microorganisms as well as earth forms. Okay, then there was a question from some student or some faculty member that what are waste to energy technologies which can be used at present. So those I have shown here, some of the technologies which can be used. Gasification, as I have told you, that conversion into gas, that is one biogas conversion can be done, that is one technology. Then pyrolysis is another technology where we can recover the energy. Then hydrolysis is the another technology. Composting is the another technology. Here basically we get manure. When manure is also energy, then some mechanical process and some biological processes, they are combined to each other, and then means energy can be recovered. And then incineration and mass burn, as told by Dr. Patil, this can also be used for the recovery of energy from the waste. So these are some of the technologies which can be used. Yes, then what are the different pathway options available to us? So whenever you have municipality solid waste, first of all, we should go for the separation of this. Friends, key to the success of any process related to the solid waste management is the segregation or separation. As long as we are going to do the separation or segregation, no technology will work. दुनिया की कोई बढ़िया से बढ़िया मशीन ले आओ, कोई दुनिया की बढ़िया से बढ़िया टेक्नोलॉजी ले आओ, if you are not going to do its segregation or its separation, none of the technology will work. So after the separation, you will get means either you will get organic material that is biodegradable, then you will get some recyclable, and then you will get some dry organics, some wet organic and some dry organic. As far as this wet organics are concerned, जो हमारा सब्जी वब्जी का खाने पीने का जो वेस्ट आता है, either it can be composted or we go for anaerobic digestion. जो recyclable है, they will be mainly having the glass, metal, paper, and these can be recycled. As far as dry organic is concerned, that can be used as refuse-derived fuel. I am using here another term, refuse-derived fuel. What is that refuse-derived? We can do some combustion process. We get some tar, we get some oil, we get some gases. ये तीन product हमें मिलेगा, and these can be used. Or simply, waste can be sent directly to the incineration, where some energy can be recovered. I think I have answered that question in detail here, that how waste can be converted into energy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes, then this is almost same thing. Then there is another waste about which I would like to talk. The another waste which we have is the fly ash. In India, this topic to some extent was touched by Dr. Patil also. In India, about 74 to 75% of electricity is produced by the thermal power plants. And our thermal power plants use coal. Sometime Indian coal, sometime imported coal. Both coals have their own problems. Imported coal have more sulfur content, and Indian coal has more, you can say, soil content or more fly ash content. So from these power plants, huge quantities of the fly ash are produced. Friends, we have to look for the fly ash. If we don't manage fly ash, the day is not far away when fly ash will be entering into our houses. घरों में रखना पड़ेगा हमें fly ash if we didn't manage it now. So here I have shown some uses of the fly ash. The uses or the value of the fly ash means based upon the kind of use. This can be a low value utilization, medium value utilization, high value utilization, and means use as soil amendment. So if I come to the low value utilization of fly ash, जितना हमारा mine filling है उसमें use हो सकता है. This can be used in embankments, highway वगैरह को जो आप rise करके ऊंचा बनाते हैं उसमें हो सकता है, structural fill में हो सकता है. But whenever you use fly ash for structural fill, etc., then you have to take a lot of care. I tell you one story of Bathinda. There are 5 thermal power plants in the vicinity of Bathinda, and there were several low-lying areas in Bathinda about 30-40 years back. 40 साल पहले कुछ low-lying area थे. So what people did, because regulation was not that stringent, कानून इतना सख्त नहीं था, तो people took the waste from fly ash को लाते थे और fill करते थे. And fill करके उसके ऊपर अपना घर बना लिए अभी. But now the groundwater in Bathinda region is polluted by the heavy metals, uranium, and that all kind of problems we have in groundwater. Although several theories are there that why the groundwater of Bathinda has polluted, but one of the theory is leaching of the metals from the fly ash that was used over there for the landfilling. So yeah, what I have written, don't believe it. Find that how it may be useful or how it may be harmful. Then there may be some medium value use. Medium value use is use of fly ash to make the bricks, and addition of fly ash in the cement. I was reading the comments. There was a comment that how this cement industry is using the waste. Friends, cement industry is using the fly ash. All cement industries are nowadays mixing fly ash 30 to 35% in the cement. आप कभी भी सीमेंट का कोई भी बैग आप देखिए किसी भी कंपनी का, उस पे लिखा होगा दिस इज ए पोजालेना सीमेंट. पोजालेना सीमेंट, पोजालेना fly ash is a pozzolana. Pozzolana means a material which is having all cement like properties except the binding property. सारी सीमेंट की प्रॉपर्टी है, बस बाइंडिंग प्रॉपर्टी उसके अंदर नहीं है. So this is a pozzolana. आप जितने भी सीमेंट के बैग देखेंगे आप सबको pozzolana उस पे लिखा मिलेगा. And pozzolana means fly ash has been mixed 30 to 35%. So this is the one method which is used by the cement people. कर रहा था. Nowadays, it has been made compulsory, at least in Punjab and in central government, that for their buildings they should use the fly ash based bricks. क्योंकि इंडिया में हाउस मेकिंग इज ए वेरी कॉस्टली अफेयर. इंडिया में जिंदगी में आदमी 2-3 ही काम करता है, पढ़ता है, नौकरी करता है, शादी करता है और घर बनाता है, फिर मर जाता है। दैट्स ऑल। इंडिया में यही है, ज्यादा सा कुछ है नहीं आदमी के लिए। तो घर बनाना जो है दैट इज ए वेरी कॉस्टली अफेयर इन इंडिया। तो व्हेन आई एम गोइंग टू मेक माय हाउस और यू आर गोइंग टू मेक योर हाउस, हमारे दिमाग में एक बात आती है कि छोड़ो यार, फ्लाई ऐश तो वेस्ट है, व्हाई टू यूज इट्स ब्रिक्स, मिट्टी वाली ही ईंट खरीदते हैं, लाल वाली ईंट। सो ही वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल यू that okay, while deciding between fly ash bricks and these soil bricks, जो लाल वाली है और ये जो fly ash वाली थोड़ी डार्क कलर की रहती हैं, जब आप इनको करें तो उनकी इंजीनियरिंग प्रॉपर्टी पे आप जाएं। इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज देयर इंजीनियरिंग प्रॉपर्टी, उनकी बीयरिंग स्ट्रेंथ कितना है और दैट ऑल, वो क्या चीज है उनका, वो थोड़ा आप लोगों को बताएं। दैट विल बी ए बिग हेल्प टू द सोसाइटी एज वेल एज टू द एनवायरमेंट ऑन योर पार्ट। देन हाई वैल्यू यूज मे बी द रिकवरी ऑफ मेटल्स, क्योंकि फ्लाई ऐश जो है दैट इज ए प्रोडक्ट ऑफ कंबस्शन। आग लगा, ये हमारे पास आया, तो इट मींस एवरीथिंग वट एवर प्रेजेंट इन द फ्लाई ऐश दैट इज इन ऑक्साइड फॉर्म एंड इट कंटेन्स एल्यूमिनियम, कैल्शियम एटसेट्रा। A number of metals are present in it and they can be recovered from the fly ash. Then fly ash can be used as a manure in the agricultural fields. A number of research papers are available on this and we at our place are also doing work on this. अभी हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, we are making the vermicompost and we are making fly ash to it in certain quantity and we are making a potting media that can be used in the urban areas. घरों घरों में पोट में लोग यूज हो जाए, we have almost made it. तो ऐसा भी नहीं करें कि खेतों में जितना मन में चाहा उतना हम डाल दें। there is a certain quantity, there is a recommended quantity by IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute has recommended certain quantity, only that much quantity should be used in the agricultural field. ज्यादा डाल लेंगे तो फिर metal toxicity आएगा। So these are some of the uses of the fly ash. Yes, at present, what is the scenario of the use of fly ash in India? As I told you, this is compulsory for all cement plants or all brick kilns to use certain quantity of this solid waste fly ash. तो ये about 25% जो है हमारा fly ash that is used in the cement. About 8 to 10% is used in making the bricks. About 2 to कुछ ये ash dike raising के लिए, कुछ ये flyover के लिए, a very small quantity 1 to and 1.5% is used in agriculture. What is important? Still 39 to 40% fly ash is unutilized. So here comes the role of you students. In addition to these methods which I have shown you, you have to think and you have to intervene that what can be the new methods, what can be the new technologies, or what can be the new products, or what can be the new processes where this unutilized fly ash can be done. If you work in this area, again, that will be a very big, you can say, use to the society. Yes. So here I have shown you some photographs. These are not clicked by me. These I have taken from the internet. These are not my photographs. That people are making bricks. There are number of, you can say, factories which are making. Then these are some of the photographs. Again, I have taken from the internet that where the fly ash has been used in the making of road and pavements, etc. Yes, friends, little bit I'll talk about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. You all know that on 2nd October 2014, a program was started by Government of India, that is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Clean India mission program was started and the total budget of this program was 60,000 crores. अब एक बात देखिए, हमने इतना कचरा फैला दिया अपने देश में कि उसको क्लीन करने के लिए a major chunk of our budget, a major chunk of the earnings of our government is going for the cleaning of that. You know, I know that if I go 10 years or 15 years back, the situation of the railway tracks was so bad कि आप रेलगाड़ी से बाहर देख नहीं सकते थे. In the morning, people will sit in line for the defecation. So this program was started. This is one among the 2-3, you can say, flagship programs started by the present government. One of the flagship program is the Namami Gange program, cleaning Ganga. And then another one is the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has been started in 2 modes. One, it has been started for rural areas and other it has been started for the urban areas. In rural areas, main emphasis has been given to the यू कैन से ओपन डिफिकेशन, जो ये लोग ओपन में डिफिकेट करते हैं, जो ओपन में लेटरिन जाते हैं, उसको कैसे रोका जाए. और अर्बन एरियाज में मेन emphasis has been given on the management of the solid waste. And I have seen, and you may also have seen, that situation has improved in the country. इससे पहले देश में एक प्रोग्राम और चलता था, निर्मल भारत प्रोग्राम. So almost कुछ मिलता जुलता था इससे. And जो अभी आप बात कर रहे थे कि इंदौर is going to apply for the 5th time, I think that is under this program only. Yes, these are some of the photographs I have taken again from the internet. These are not. गांव में लोगों को अब टॉयलेट देने की बात है. पहले लोगों पे जगह ही नहीं होती थी टू डिफिकेट. अब ये हमारे लिए कितना शर्म का बात है कि आवर मदर्स, आवर सिस्टर्स, हमारी बहनें बेटियां जो हैं, उनको हम एक टॉयलेट नहीं दे पा रहे हैं घर के अंदर, और वो उन बेचारियों को ओपन में डिफिकेशन करता है. था, आपने एक मूवी भी देखा होगा ऑन द सेम इशू. देयर वाज ए मूवी, टॉयलेट कुछ करके एक मूवी था. आई थिंक एनीबॉडी एल्स कैन टेल द एग्जैक्ट नेम ऑफ दैट मूवी. And same issue was highlighted in that movie also. So this is something which the present government is doing for the people. Again, this is a very big service to the society. Yes, this I have taken from this map of India. You can see that about 99% houses have been given the toilets now. And again, in the urban areas also, toilets have been given except the few states. But here come the role of psyche of the people. लोगों की psyche में गड़बड़ है. पता नहीं क्यों people still prefer to go in the open field instead of using the toilets. Here you student can work a lot. You can educate the people. You can say the harmful effects of open defecation. अब अगर ओपन में आप लेटिन करते हैं उसके क्या इफेक्ट है, और अगर आप ये यूज कर Maharashtra, you will see that before this program 14.95% houses were having the toilets, and now after this program Maharashtra में 100% are households are having the toilet. This is a great achievement of the government of India. Yes, friends, how much time is left with me? Another 5-10 minutes?
Yes, sir. 10 minutes are there. Yes, sir.
Okay. Friends,
Yes.
We are going through the COVID-19 pandemic. And in this COVID-19 pandemic, new kind of medical waste has started generating. Have seen these gloves, face masks, and these you can say bottles of the sanitizers, these PPE kits. So many different kind of solid waste is generating. I have taken these two photographs. One photograph जो ये अंग्रेज का photograph है, this I have taken from a new this research paper that has been published in a journal Waste Management, and this picture was circulating a lot on the social media also. ये second मैंने click किया when I was moving on the road कि सड़क पे face mask पड़ा है. So here also the role of you people come. You have to educate our people that this is not the right method of the disposal of the this is of a infected person or a non-infected person. We really don't know. And you all know on such kind of, you can say objects, such kind of things, this COVID-19 virus can survive up to 96 hours. इसके बाद भी इस पे 100 घंटे तक जिंदा रह सकता है वो. अब नाउ ये इन्फेक्शन कहीं से कहीं जा सकता है, ये मैं आपको दिखाता हूं आगे. Yes, this photograph I have taken again from that research paper. अब हो क्या रहा है, here you will see in this water body face masks are present. When these face masks are going into the water body, this is quite possible that sea animal may eat this, and when sea animal will eat this, then सी फूड खाते हैं उनके अंदर जा सकता है. मींस ए सर्कल में बी देयर of this because of this wrong method of solid waste, this biomedical waste disposal. Particularly I'm talking COVID-19 waste, I'm not talking other waste. So friends, here we have to do something. Again, something is expected from you people. that you do some research, you suggest some methods that how to handle this COVID-19 waste. COVID-19 waste को कैसे handle करें? This is again very important issue of research, and you have to educate the people. जैसे अभी if you visit the website of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare करके कुछ जो वो है, so number of this waste. अगर मैं आपको कॉमन बताऊं तो उसमें एक बुकलेट में था कि you should have a cardboard box at your home. अपने घर पे रखिएगा, whatever face mask you are using, whatever sanitizer bottles are there, you put them there for 96 hours. 4 दिन उनको वहां पे रखना है आपने, so that in case there is any infection that is you can say finished, वो खत्म हो जाए, and then you cut it into small pieces and only then you can dispose it. So you educate people by taking those booklets from the website of Ministry of this Family and Health Welfare जो है. Yes, इसके साथ साथ now I'll be talking a little bit about the legal options. Government of India has promulgated, enacted a number of laws, solid waste management. Now, all the laws जो पहले थे, they all have been revamped in 2016. 2016 में सारे लॉ बदल दिए हैं. जैसे जो सबसे पहले मैंने लिखा है, that is solid waste management rule. Earlier the name of this was municipality waste management rules. So when we say municipality waste management rules, it means only the municipalities of the country were covered. And how much area of the country is having the municipalities? Hardly 15 or 20% area of the country is having only municipalities. Rest of the area was not covered under those rules. तो गवर्नमेंट ने कहा भाई म्युनिसिपलिटी वर्ड हटा के उसकी जगह सॉलिड लेके आइए. Now every village dear student, I'll suggest you one thing. These all laws are present on the website of the ministry and the Central Pollution Control Board. आप इसको डाउनलोड कीजिएगा and you have your own small presentations in your classroom. बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा. Similarly, we have biomedical waste management rules. In biomedical waste management rules, it has been mentioned that in what kind of waste will be disposed in what color, which color bin, किस कलर के बिन में कौन सा वेस्ट डिस्पोज करेंगे, because there are so many different waste. Sharps are there, anatomical waste is there, pathological waste is there, microbiological waste is there, then expired drugs are there. That is clearly mentioned, and it has clearly mentioned over there that what technologies can be used. Deep burial can be used for this way biomedical waste. Then autoclaving method can be used. Then incineration is recommended, that can be used, but as I told you, in case of incineration, the proper temperature should be maintained. If proper temperature is not maintained, that time it may lead to problem. Then we have hazardous waste management rules in India. In hazardous waste management rule, recently the transportation has also been added. As Dr. Patil was telling, that before Basel Convention, होता क्या था, जितने डेवलप्ड कंट्री थे समुद्री जहाज में अपना वेस्ट डालते थे और किसी गरीब. There are number of stories on the internet regarding ये भी मैंने एक प्रैक्टिस देखा है लोगों में, whenever they buy the samosa from the market, बाजार से आपका इंदौर में तो बड़ा एक फूड मार्केट है। तो जब इंदौर में तो नहीं करते लोग, खैर मैंने और शहरों में देखा है कि वो घर जब लेके आते हैं कहते हैं भाई समोसे जो हैं ट्रांसपेरेंट में मत डालना, काले पॉलीथीन में डाल देना, किसी को दिखेंगे नहीं, मैं घर लेके जा रहा हूँ समोसे। बट यू नो a number of dyes have been used in making that black polythene from the waste polythene को रिसाइकिल करते हुए डाइस डाल के उसको ब्लैक कर देते हैं। So there is a it is quite possible that some dye may leach down into your samosa or the food that you have packed in that polythene। तो ये रूल आया। 2003 में फिर एक रूल आ गया कि भाई none of the plastic bag will be used for the packaging of none of whether it is recycled whether it is virgin plastic, जो नई बनी है या कोई भी है फूड के लिए हम पैकेजिंग नहीं करेंगे। Then one industry was there, the name of that industry is some Ankur Industries, on internet you can search Ankur Industry case। तो वहां पे उनको कुछ ऐसा परमिशन हुआ कि ठीक है इंडिया में तो यूज नहीं करेंगे बट जो है उसमें यूज करेंगे। नाउ रिसेंटली दीज हैव बीन अगेन प्रोमलगेटेड। इसमें एक और पता लगा कि रैग पिकर जो है वो जो हमारा कैरी बैग प्लास्टिक है उसको इकट्ठा क्यों नहीं करते हैं। एक्चुअली इंडिया में जो पॉलीथीन रहता है हमारे कैरी बैग का दैट इज वेरी थिन, बहुत पतला रहता है। तो रैग पिकर जी ये कहते हैं कि जी पूरा दिन लग जाता है, 2 किलो इकट्ठा नहीं होता और 40 रुपए का बिकता है। सो व्हाई टू कलेक्ट इट? सो नाउ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज इंक्रीज्ड दिस थिकनेस टू 50 माइक्रोन, 50 माइक्रोन नए रूल में कर दिया ताकि लोग इसको कलेक्ट करें। सेवरल अदर थिंग्स आर गिवन इन द प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट रूल्स, ये आप जरूर पढ़िए, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग रूल्स। देन e-waste management rules are there, as Dr. Patil was telling। in India nobody is authorized, मतलब कोई भी अगर विनोद गर्ग चाहे तो I cannot handle with the e-waste। every state is having authorized vendors for the e-waste management। आपके कॉलेज में जितना भी e-waste प्रोड्यूस होता है you have to give it to that vendor। now next question may arise from you, who is that vendor? the list of those vendors is available on the website of the State Pollution Control Board of each state। हर स्टेट की वेबसाइट पे एक लिस्ट दिया है that these are the authorized vendor। authorized vendor means they are having the proper technologies by which this e-waste can be managed। e-waste management का best technology is the recycling। जो वेस्ट आपके पास आया हम उसका मैकेनिकल ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे, प्लास्टिक अलग करेंगे, मेटल अलग करेंगे एंड दैट ऑल। बिफोर दीज रूल्स lot of e-waste has been dumped in India। मैं आपको इसकी छोटा सा बताता हूं। अगर आप 1990 के आसपास जाएं तो एट दैट टाइम जो कंप्यूटर वगैरह होते थे दे आइदर वर Pentium 3, Pentium 4 और Celeron। अभी तो आप ये आते हैं ना i5, i7 कुछ ऐसा लंबा लंबा कुछ आता है, Core i5 Intel। उस टाइम होता था Pentium 3, Pentium 4 Celeron। तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने जस्ट टू प्रमोट के इंडिया में बहुत कंप्यूटर आ जाएगा विदेश से, ये कहा कि एनी कंप्यूटर दैट इज 15 ईयर ओल्ड कैन बी इंपोर्टेड इन इंडिया। अब देखिए ला का कैसे यूज करते हैं, मिस यूज करते हैं। अब 15 साल पुराने का हमने एक रूल पास किया, पीपल स्टार्टेड एक्सपोर्टिंग, और इंडिया पीपल स्टार्टेड इंपोर्टिंग। समुद्री जहाज के जहाज भर के आते थे चेन्नई में, लेते थे उनको कूड़े को, उस कंट्री का तो कूड़ा डिस्पोज हो गया ना, फॉर विच दे वर सपोज्ड टू गिव मनी, वो इंडिया में उन्होंने फ्री में भेज दिया। तो यहां पे लोग क्या करते थे, जो उसका मॉनिटर रहता था, जो चल जाता था उसको तो टीवी बना देते थे, टीवी कहीं भी बेच दिया। उसके बाद जो बच गया उसको सीधे आग लगा देते थे, प्लास्टिक बर्न हो जाता था एंड मेटल को रिकवर कर लेते थे, एंड दैट वाज कॉजिंग ह्यूज एयर पोल्यूशन because toxic gases are produced when we burn this plastic and that all। then government of India took it seriously और ये हमने यहाँ पे रूल बनाया। ओके, तो then we have a number of fly ash waste management notifications। ये मैं अभी आपसे बात करके हटाऊं। fly ash waste notification में ये है कि भाई किसी भी थर्मल पावर प्लांट के अगर 100 किलोमीटर में कोई ब्रिक किल्न है या कोई सीमेंट फैक्ट्री है, they have to use the fly ash। Then we have construction and demolition waste। huge quantity of the construction and demolition waste are produced। हिंदुस्तान में मैंने देखा है जो घर बनाता है सड़क जरूर तोड़ देता है सामने की। तो इस तरह करके lot of legal options are available in our country। and एक बात लास्ट में मैं आप लोगों को कहूंगा that this stubble burning itself is a very big problem in India। stubble burning होता क्या है हमारे पंजाब में, जैसे राइस का कटिंग हुआ और खेत में आग लगा देते हैं बचे हुए का। क्योंकि किसी काम का तो वो है नहीं, एंड दैट लीड्स टू लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम। और उन दिनों में क्या होता है, टेम्परेचर कम होता है, क्लाइमेट काम होता है, हवा चलती नहीं है, टेम्परेचर कम है। गैस कितना ऊपर उठेगी, जो गैसेस प्रोड्यूस हो रही है, दैट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द टेम्परेचर ऑफ द गैस। ठंडी होती है गैस, ऊपर उठती नहीं है तो पूरे एरिया में फैल जाती है, हॉरिजेंटली वर्टिकली नहीं जाती है, एंड लीड्स टू लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम। रिसेंटली आप सबको पता होगा, IARI जो है, इंडियन एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट, दे हैव डेवलप्ड सर्टेन कैप्सूल्स। एक कैप्सूल की कीमत 5 रुपए है, एंड दैट कैप्सूल कंटेन ए कंसोर्शियम ऑफ 8 माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स। 8 माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म का उन्होंने कंसोर्शियम बनाया है। यू बीइंग द स्टूडेंट ऑफ माइक्रोबायोलॉजी एंड बायोटेक्नोलॉजी विल मोर अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट दैट व्हाट आर दोज माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म एंड हाउ दे वर्क। वो क्या करते हैं, वो ये कहते हैं, यू टेक दीज कैप्सूल्स, mix them with water, keep them 4 days, microorganism will grow, then mix again into 200-liter waters and spray in the field, and whatever stubble is left, जितना भी वहां पे राइस का कचरा बचा है, that all will be converted into your field. So here again comes the role of you people. अभी वो 15 दिन क्लेम करते हैं, can you people make a consortium of the microorganism that will work out this in 7 days, or that will work out in 4 days or 10 days? So you have to think over it. I think I have taken enough time. Thank you very much. I'm stopping my presentation for some discussion if time is left. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful explanation with some interesting examples and case studies that you have done in your course, and that was really interesting to understand each and everything with in so simplified ways. So thank you so much for this. And now we are heading towards the discussion. So I am having some questions in the chat box. One question is from Dr. Pranoti Belapurkar. What are the recent advancements in generating energy from biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste?
I think I have already answered.
Yes, Shivani, he has already.
Rather, when I was listening to Dr. Patil, my presentation was almost same. At that time only, I made these slides.
Changes, right.
Yeah, I made these all changes while listening him only. Yeah.
Sir, next question is from Professor Mukul Sharma from Medicaps University, that many of the household materials are non-recyclable, like thermosettings and some bakelite and some fibrous products. So what should be the measures to recycle them, and how this kind of waste can be reduced when we are using them?
Recently some chemical method has been developed for thermocols. मैं thermocol का तो method बता सकता हूँ.
Yes.
Recently some people are taking the thermocol back, and thermocol can be dissolved in acetone. So what people are doing, they are dissolving it into acetone and they are recovering it and again making its use. For thermocol, some chemical method has been developed. Although एक चीज आप समझ लीजिएगा कि hazardous waste के जितने भी मेथड हैं इंडिया में, they are in their infancy stage. इंडिया में बहुत पुअर है hazardous waste management, कुछ है ही नहीं. A number of hazardous waste sites have been made, बनाई है, but their situation is very bad. If you go over there, अब हम अपना सिर पीट लेंगे कि whether it is hazardous waste management or what it is, where the law has gone. इंडियन लॉज की अगर मैं बात करूं, मैंने बड़ी बातें की हैं लॉ के बारे में, बट लॉ भी जो है इंडिया का, दैट इज बार्किंग मोर बाइटिंग लेस. भागता जाता है, काटता कम. मैं एक एग्जांपल मैं आपको दे सकता हूं. इंडिया में आपके गुजरात में एक सिटी है अलंग करके एक सिटी है, जहां पे शिप ब्रेकिंग होता है पूरी दुनिया से. तो जो वो शिप ब्रेकिंग हमारे अलंग में होता है, वहां पे कुछ इस तरह का रूल है कि जो ओनली कमर्शियल शिप्स विल बी ब्रोकन ओवर देयर, जो कमर्शियल है वो ब्रोकन होंगे, एंड कमीशन्ड वेसल्स विल नॉट बी ब्रोकन ओवर देयर. कमीशन्ड मींस जो नेवी वगैरह में है अलग अलग देशों की. एक शिप उधर आया एंड दैट वाज कंटेमिनेटेड विद सम हजार्डस मटेरियल. वो पहले किसी फ्रांस की नेवी में था, उसका जब लाइफ खत्म हुआ तो उन्होंने इधर भेज दिया कि जाओ इंडिया में जाके इसको ब्रेक कर लो भाई. दे डोंट अलाउ ब्रेकिंग इन देयर ऑन कंट्री. तो एक हमारे यहाँ पे एनजीओ था, वो एनजीओ सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चला गया कि भाई व्हेन ब्रेकिंग ऑफ कमीशन्ड वेसल इज नॉट अलाउड, देन व्हाई दिस वेसल हैज कम हियर. एंड द आर्गुमेंट गिवन बाय द एडवोकेट इन द कोर्ट वाज, my lord, this is not commissioned vessel, this is decommissioned vessel. वेसल वर्ड में जहाज के लिए यूज कर रहा हूं. अब ये कमीशन नहीं है. You see how the words are interpreted in the law. हमारे वाटर एक्ट में बड़े क्लियरली लिखा है, इफ एनी बॉडी इज इंटेंशनली पॉल्यूटिंग ए वाटर बॉडी. इसमें सबसे डेंजरस वर्ड जो है वो इंटेंशनल है. हाउ यू विल डिफाइन माई इंटेंशंस? आई कैन टेल यू वन केस ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश. देयर वाज ए इंडस्ट्री दैट वाज पुटिंग देयर वेस्ट इन द रिवर चंबल. कोर्ट में केस गया, जजमेंट कहता है कि these are not the owners or the managers which are polluting the Chambal river. This is the factory which is polluting, and factory cannot be put behind the bar. Rupees 25,000 fined. Matter is over. इतनी चालाकी से हम चीजों को बदल लेते हैं और चेंज कर देते हैं. But still every dark cloud is having a silver lining. A number of assignment I have given to your student. They can
Yes,
do
yes.
lot of.
Sir, I just want to, the point that you have highlighted, I was just reiterating that thing, that it's not the things that we need to get rid of, like Patil sir also very well pointed it out. It is the psyche of the people. It is the mindset that we need to change, and we need to inculcate these habits right from the young age in our, children, so that we can have a society where we actually think what our responsibilities are, and we are not shunning away from it and not hiding behind the laws. As you rightly said, we play with the words and we just misinterpret the words, and we just do it for the sake of getting few bucks out of it. But on a larger scale, we should be more focused into betterment of the society rather than our own vested interests. Very nicely put, sir. बहुत बढ़िया presentation.
There is one question from Damini ji that why farmers are not cultivating basmati over there.
Yes.
And now they are cultivating, but before that they were not cultivating ना. अभी होता क्या है, अभी उनके दिमाग में एक बात आ गया कि इस एरिया का जो राइस है उसमें सिलिका ज्यादा है, ये एनिमल्स को तो खिलाना ही नहीं है हमने. वो एक कहते हैं ना, जब एक एरिया बदनाम हो जाए तो उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. आपने एक मूवी देखी होगी उड़ता पंजाब. ऐसा लगता है बठिंडा में हर आदमी ड्रग्स खाए बैठा है. नथिंग लाइक दैट इज देयर. आप इधर आएंगे, अब हमारे यहाँ एक मध्य प्रदेश से वाइस चांसलर आए हैं मेरे यहाँ पे, हरि सिंह गौड़ यूनिवर्सिटी से. वो कहते हैं मैं तो ये सोच के आए थे जगह जगह मीट पकड़ा होगा, जगह जगह दारू की दुकानें होंगी, यहाँ तो कुछ भी नहीं है ऐसा. मीन्स दिस काइंड ऑफ इंप्रेशन इज स्प्रेड इन द सोसाइटी. किसी एरिया के बारे में वो कई बार गड़बड़ हो जाता है. तो that we have to see, but solid waste situation is not very good in India. But since this Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has been started, things have improved. Yes, then there is a question from Afrin. Afrin कह रहे हैं कि भाई why we are not, municipalities are not doing this composting and that all. Afrin ji, see, as I told you in the beginning, municipalities don't have this much budget that they can go for the composting. For the composting, they have to buy the certain machines. They are not purchasing it. Most of their budget is going only on the collection and transportation. इकट्ठा करना और कूड़ा को फेंकना कहीं ये चल रहा है सारे का सारा. अच्छा, दूसरी मैं एक और आपको बात बताता हूँ. We people have worked a lot in this case. आपने कंपोस्ट बना भी लिया, there is no market for the that compost. सरकार उसको 2-3 रुपए किलो बेचती है, किसान उसको खरीदता नहीं है. किसान कहता है ये तो कूड़े से बन के आई है, मेरे खेत को खराब कर देगी. इट्स बेटर लेट मी मेक दिस कंपोस्ट ऑफ माय ओन एनिमल डंग. तो ये जो एक साइकी है, ये माइंड सेट है. हियर कम्स द रोल ऑफ वी पीपल, दैट के हाउ टू एजुकेट पीपल. लोगों को जो हमें वो एजुकेट करना पड़ेगा, वो हमारे लिए है. देन देयर इज वन मोर क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम Ruchi Srivastava ji, that in what extent the rules are implemented. रुचि जी, किसने इम्प्लीमेंट करना है रूल? तो हमने इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट इम्प्लीमेंट द रूल्स, गवर्नमेंट कैन ओनली गिव द रूल्स. देखो, मुझे बचपन में सिखाया गया था कि झूठ बोलना पाप है, मैं फिर भी झूठ बोलता हूँ. चोरी करना पाप है, हम फिर भी चोरी करते हैं. तो दिस इज अप टू द कॉमन मैन. राजीव गांधी जी ने जब वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे, देन ही स्टार्टेड क्लीनिंग गंगा प्रोग्राम. That time its name was Ganga Action Plan. तो उन्होंने रेडियो पे एक लाइन बोली थी कि we are starting the clean this Ganga Action Plan. The Ganga Action Plan is not for the scientists. Ganga Action Plan is not for the engineers. This plan is for the common man. And common man has to decide the role which he has to play in the Ganga Action Plan. And I can give you one example what role has been played by the common man. हरिद्वार बनारस जब आप जाएंगे तो वहां एक घाट है, मणिकर्णिका घाट। मैं एक बार गया, मैं बीमार हो गया वहां पे। उस गली में जब आप गुजरेंगे वहां पर डेड बॉडी की लाइन लगी हुई है, चली जा रही है डेड बॉडी। कोई ना कोई आप में से जरूर गए होंगे उधर मणिकर्णिका घाट पे। पागल हो जाएगा आदमी उधर जाके, आम आदमी तो फूके जा रहे हैं आदमियों को। एवरेज टाइम रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द बर्निंग ऑफ ए बॉडी 6 to 7 hours। वहां पे 2 घंटे में जितनी बर्न होगी, बाकी को उठा के गंगा मैया के अंदर फेंक देते हैं। तो ये था कि हाउ टू हैंडल दिस प्रॉब्लम, क्या करें। तो ये एक डिसीजन लिया गया दैट वी विल पुट सर्टेन टर्टल्स, कछुए की एक वैरायटी रहता है टॉर्टोइस का, वी विल पुट 10,000 टर्टल्स इन दिस एरिया and those turtle will feed on the dead bodies and water will be clean. It's a wonderful idea, wonderful biological method given by the biology people. कछुए छोड़ दिए गए। 6 महीने बाद ये डिसाइड हुआ लेट वी हैव ए फॉलो अप स्टडी कि हमारे कछुए बढ़ गए होंगे, अब तो बच्चे भी आ गए होंगे, and there was not even a single turtle. When further follow up study was done, it was found the people which are living in the vicinity, they feel the meat of this tortoise is very tasty. Turtle is tasty. So all were poached and eaten up by the people. This is the role played by the common man. The most difficult thing is to change our behavior. And behavior is determined by the culture. And solid waste management is not part of our culture. मैं बड़ी sweeping statement दे रहा हूं। हमारे कल्चर में ही नहीं है। अभी मैं गाय का एग्जाम्पल दे रहा था। एक तरफ तो कहते हैं हम गाय हमारी माता है, इतना लड़ते हैं हम लोगों से। ऑन दी अदर हैंड उसके पेट में ऑपरेशन करके कितना पॉलीथीन, कितना गंदगी, क्या नहीं निकलता। syringes are there, blades are there, nails are there, this glass pieces are there, what not is there in the stomach of our गाय माता। तो किस बात की माता है फिर वो। Yes, Rati Tiwari ji has written that this is moral value should be there. एक स्लाइड में आपको दिखानी भूल गया। We are offering a one course on the SWAYAM on the solid and hazardous waste management. I don't know whether you know or not about it.
Sir, I would like to intervene here. Myself and Shivani have already done that course actually. So we know, yeah, absolutely.
From there yes, from sir, last year we did it.
Okay,
yeah,
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So you can ask your student to join that course.
Sure. Yes, sir, surely.
Rati Trivedi ji asking some questions.
I just want to say कि ये जो कोर्सेज है ये हमको अभी नहीं, किसी सर्टिफिकेशन के अलावा भी बचपन से स्टूडेंट्स जो बच्चे हमारे हैं उनको स्टार्टिंग से ही ये सारी चीजें इनकॉर्पोरेट करनी चाहिए सिलेबस में, ताकि वो बड़े हो जाए, होने तक इन चीजों को यूज कर पाए और ये चीजें खत्म हो जाए।
You are very right. You are very right. So you can tell your student we have started the registration for the January semester. और कोई भी ज्वाइन कर सकता है उस कोर्स को, that is free of cost. आपने एग्जाम दिया था आपने या नहीं दिया था?
Yes sir, दिया था।
So then you might have returned your money back.
Yes sir, sure.
तो एग्जाम के लिए आपको 1,000 रुपए डिपॉजिट करना है, वो पैसा वापिस आ जाता है। मींस गवर्नमेंट इज नॉट चार्जिंग एनी मनी फॉर दैट। So I think we have very good lecture from our side. मुझे नहीं पता अच्छे हैं या बुरे हैं, but we have done our best efforts to make that course. So you can ask your student to join that course.
Certainly.
That may be additional help. And Afrin ji, you can ask the madams, they have already done this course. Afrin is asking tell about this course. This is having a total of 40 lectures. शुरू में हमने बताया waste situation क्या है, then we talk about different kind of technologies which are used, then we talk about the legal options, and then we talk what is going on. This is about 20 ये पूरे semester का course है. And Afrin, there is a SWAYAM site.
Sir, we can definitely cover these points in our email discussions, or maybe we can address them student to student.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank
you so much, sir, for this wonderful lecture. And now I'd like to give the report of this seminar. Like in the it is always said that in the middle of the difficulty lies opportunity. And it was said by none other than the Albert Einstein, and that's what our department has always believed in. So to sow the seed of curiosity, knowledge, and skills about the waste management, this national seminar has been thought of, and I'm really happy that this is being executed by today by the constant support from MSI President Dr. Deshmukh and insight of Dr. Pranoti Belapurkar HOD to make it happen. Also, I'm so happy to have our eminent speakers, the dignitaries from the field itself, from the field of solid waste management, bioremediation, pollution monitoring, radioecology amongst us today. And I would like to share with you, sir, that in all 312 registrations we obtained from different states of India for this seminar. And this session was live streamed on YouTube also. And there it was viewed by 440 people. And all the participants will be giving them the certificate of participation on fulfilling the feedback link. And these were the students were from UG-PG background, the research fellow were there. Some NGOs also joined. To our surprise, some NGOs also joined to it, and that was really a commendable thing. And the takeaway thing from this seminar is to be really responsible and follow the waste management hierarchy, as you said in your lecture, that I think this seminar is able to develop this comprehensive understanding of the fact that we must do something, and we must follow this RRR concept also. And I would like to express my immense gratitude to our speakers, Dr. Patil and Dr. Garg, our patron president, Dr. Deshmukh, Dr. Nandini Phantse, and Dr. Ashok Jhabbar, the principal of Acropolis Institute of Management Studies and Research, that he always gave us free hand to conduct such seminars time to time. And this could not be possible without my team. My team is consisting of Professor Rati Trivedi Nair, Dr. Niharika Shivhare, and Professor Pushpanjali Sharma, with amazing student coordinators like Smita, Zoha, Monty, Mudrika, Damini, Isha Dhamu, Anisha, Ashi. And thanks to all the participants for your patient listening, and you will get the certificate soon. And I would like to conclude this seminar with the wise words of B. Johnson, that refuse what you do not need. Mind my words, refuse what you do not need, reduce what you do need, reuse what you can consume, and recycle what you cannot refuse, reduce, or reuse, and compost the rest. With these final words, I would like to conclude this seminar. Thank you so much, everybody, for this patient listening and for this constant support. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So I'm leaving. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
The feedback link has been provided in the chat box also, and it will be mailed to you via the mail on your registered mail IDs. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunita Agrawal, for your wonderful feedback.